I sit beside the soft light and invite calm to settle in the room. I speak in a quiet voice. I am the one who reads the Bible before you drift into sleep. Tonight, I guide a gentle closing of the day. My words move like a slow river. They carry rest. Find a comfortable place. Loosen anything tight. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out with a long, easy sigh. Feel the weight of the day melt a little more each time you breathe. Feel the mattress or chair hold you. Allow the body to relax into that support. I open with a simple thought. Peace is not the absence of all trouble. Peace is a presence that steadies the heart inside the trouble. I keep that thought soft and near. I remind myself, and you, that rest grows from that presence. Imagine a small lamp in a dark room. The lamp does not extinguish every shadow, but it makes the way safe. It warms hands. It calms the eyes. The presence I speak of is like that lamp. As I read, I use the voice of someone who knows the road of tiredness. My rhythm stays slow. Each sentence lands like a quiet footstep. I paraphrase truths from Scripture without rushing. I do not read verses as a list. I tell them as a friend describes a familiar path. The words point to mercy. They point to hope rooted in Christ. They ask for no debate. They invite rest. Picture a gentle shepherd. He walks slowly along the hills at evening. He watches the sheep. He guides them to soft grass and cool water. He keeps them close until night. I hold that image as I speak. The shepherd cares through the small things, the right bend in a path, the shade under a tree, the quieting of rustling leaves. These care gifts mirror how mercy meets the small anxieties that crowd a tired mind. I encourage you to take a single worry and place it into an imagined bowl. Do this silently. Choose only one. Name it in your mind as if setting down a pebble. Notice the pebble's smoothness. Notice the weight become less. Leave it there for the night. If another worry rises, set it down too. There is room enough in the bowl. The bowl does not judge. It simply holds. I speak about forgiveness as a soft rain. Forgiveness waters the ground where guilt and regret have cracked the soil. The rain soaks in. Roots loosen. New shoots begin. Do not try to fix everything with your hands tonight. Allow forgiveness to reach those places you cannot reach. Mercy is already working in the hidden spaces. Trust that work, rather than policing every memory. I slow even more now. I det skribe harbor er dusk. Boats lie still against small waves. A few lanterns blink. The harbor keeps all kinds of vessels. It does not ask a boat to explain its voyage. It merely steadies it. Imagine your life as one of those boats. The harbor receives you. It is steadying and patient. Rest happens because something larger holds you in place. Breath is a faithful anchor. Focus on inhaling for 4 counts. Hold for 1. Exhale for 6. Repeat. Let each breath settle the chest like a soft hand. Let each exhale loosen a tight thought. If the mind wanders, bring it back by feeling the air at the nostrils. I say this gently. No pressure, only invitation. I describe the mercy of mornings. Mercy is not a one-time rescue. It arrives with light after each night. Think of the dawn that does not ask permission to come. It unfolds anyway. The same pattern holds for grace. It comes to meet weariness again and again. This promise is small and steady. Believe it in a simple way, not as a theory, as a warm, practical help for the next step. I touch on the promise of presence. Presence is like a steady hand on the shoulder in a dark moment. It does not solve everything at once. It speaks calm into trembling places. Presence is enough when the mind cannot fix the future. Imagine that hand now. Feel its light pressure. Let it remind the body to loosen. Let it remind the heart that it is not alone. I turn our thoughts to hope in Christ. Hope here is not a loud trumpet. It is a soft lantern on a path. It shows the next step. It keeps the steps trustworthy even when the road bends. The hope I name is practical. It steadies decisions, small and large. It holds the knowledge that mercy continues beyond today. Let that lantern be enough for tonight. I describe a scene with slow details. A small house rests near a slow river. The windows reflect the last color of sky. Inside, a simple table waits. A cup of warm tea steams gently. You are allowed to be there. No lists to finish. No performance required. The house says you may stop for a while. The river's sound is steady and plain. It soothes the ears and slows the mind. I guide the listener to a posture. Rest the hands on the lap or chest. Feel the pulse. Notice one beat at a time. Each beat is a quiet reminder that life continues to move in steady rhythms. Align breath with that rhythm. There is a grace in small, steady cycles. I share a short, soft encouragement. Mercy meets every kind of failure. Hope reaches even the smallest spark. Christ's care is practical. It tends to scuffed knees. It steadies shaking hands. It wipes the mud from tired shoes. This language is plain and close to the ground. It does not argue. It comforts. I ask you to let go of the day's performance. Tonight, nothing requires a polished show. Rest is not for the strong. Only, it is for the weary. It is for those who have tried hard and those who have hidden trying. It is for anyone who breathes and needs a pause. Let the pause be real. Let it be sufficient. I move to a short practice of letting go. Close the eyes if that feels right. Picture a slow folding of a letter. The letter contains today's worries. Fold it carefully. Set it upon the table at the small house. The roof will shelter it. The river will carry away the small ashes of worry in the morning light. Let your hands be empty now. I remind gently that rest shapes readiness. When sleep comes, it restores more than muscles. It restores perspective. It repairs courage. It refocuses desire. Sleep is not an escape from responsibility. It is a tool of renewal. Accept it as such. Give your mind and body permission to rebuild overnight. I speak of thankfulness in a quiet way. Gratitude does not need to be loud. A single, small, thankful thought is enough. It can be as simple as the warmth left in a cup of tea, or the steady rhythm of a heartbeat. Find one small thing to rest on. Keep that image close as you sink deeper into relaxation. I do not press for perfect peace. I acknowledge the mind will wander. That is normal and kind. Each return to calm is itself a small victory. Celebrate those returns softly. No fanfare. A gentle recognition that you are present again. That is enough. I shift to a closing invitation. Rest is an act of trust. It says, I will pause now, and something greater will keep watch. This is not a surrender to passivity. It is a chosen reliance. Choose it now. Choose the small lamp, the hand on the shoulder, the harbor and the house. Choose mercy to meet the cracks, and hope to light the next step. I promise to read slowly in the parts that follow. Tonight, this first part opens the door. The voice remains steady and calm. We will move through short passages and reflections. Each passage will be an invitation to lower the volume of worry. Each reflection will be a soft touch of assurance. Before I close this segment, I ask for a simple breath together. Inhale gently. Pause. Exhale fully. Let the body sink. Allow the mind to follow. I will stay with this slow pace. I will keep the voice low. I will guide the next moment as we continue. Now rest. The lamp stays lit. The harbor holds. The shepherd walks slowly. Mercy works in silence. Hope keeps a steady light. Sleep in the peace of God tonight. I will continue to read, and to guide, stay with a slow voice. Let the room become a gentle place to be. The night has begun its work. Let it do so in you. I stay with the soft light. My voice stays low. I invite you to notice a quiet nearness that is not anxious or loud. Presence feels like the small warmth of a lamp on a table. It feels like a hand lightly resting on the shoulder without squeezing. It is simple and steady. It is enough for this hour. Breathe with me now. Inhale slowly. Hold a breath that is calm. Exhale long and easy. Let the rhythm of this breathing be a gentle measure of presence. Each breath is an entrance into a small room where weight can be set down. Let that room be filled with something tender and steady. Call it presence. Call it rest. This is not about solving all the hard things tonight. It is about allowing a close comfort to sit beside the heart. The Bible speaks often of a near companion. I read those words aloud in my own quiet way. They tell of a care that watches the tired and attends to small needs. The language I use now is soft and plain. It simply says, you are not abandoned. A caring nearness meets you where you are. I guide you to feel that presence in 3 small ways. First, listen. Notice the sounds that are already kind. Maybe a clock makes a slow, regular sound. Maybe distant traffic hums like a lullaby. Maybe breathing in the room adds a steady rhythm. These sounds become a chorus that says, you are here, and you are held. Second, notice touch. Rest a hand on the chest. Feel the steady rise and fall beneath the palm. Let that motion be a message. The body is keeping time. It is working for you even now. If placing a hand on the chest is not comfortable, rest the hands on the belly or along the thighs. Find a pressure that is easy. Let that pressure be a simple proof that you are close to life, and life is close to you. Third, notice sight. The lamp's light is small, but it reveals. It shows edges without flooding them. Let your eyes rest on a single point, a small reflection on a window, the shadow a small cup makes on the table. Keep the focus soft. Do not look for sharp answers. Look for a single, calm detail that steadies the mind. I speak now about belonging. Presence is not meant to be private in a way that isolates. It invites shared comfort. Imagine a small circle of people gathered by lamplight. They do not need to speak loudly. They share silence. They share a breath. They pass. In thought, a bowl that holds the night's worries. Each person places a pebble into the bowl. Each pebble is named quietly in the heart. The bowl does not judge. It holds. There is a dignity to this small sharing. If you are not with others in the room, imagine one trusted person sitting across. Visualize their calm face. Imagine them letting you be as you are. If there is someone you want to invite into this practice, considera simple nota tomorrow. A short message can say, "Will you rest with me tonight?" Offer no demands. Offer only the option of shared quiet. The invitation itself is gentle mercy. I read a short passage now, not as a lecture, but as a friend reading a page that comforts. The passage speaks of a steady care that does not leave in the dark. It pictures help that arrives like a hand at the edge of sleep, a touch that says, "I am near to the broken." The words I use stay simple. They are meant to be felt rather than argued over. Let them sit as a warm blanket around the chest. Participation can be small. Tonight, if it feels right, breathe in with intention and name one need silently. A single word will do rest. Courage, clarity, forgiveness. Hold that word lightly in the mind. Breathe out. Give that need to the presence that listens. No explanation required. No justification needed. The act of naming is itself a small prayer. It is a way of handing a piece of the night over to someone stronger than our worry. There is comfort in routine. If you find this voice helpful, invite another to listen on another evening. You might read a short line you like to a neighbor, or send a message that says, "I pause tonight for a gentle reading. Would you like to join tomorrow?" Simple invitations build small communities of rest. They do not require perfect responses. They only ask for someone's willingness to be present. Mercy is practical in the most ordinary ways. It tends to scraped knees and weary hands. It straightens a blanket. It brings a warm cup. It sends a steady message that care is not only for great moments. It is for the small cracks and the routine fatigue. In this hour, let mercy be practical for you. Let it settle into the place that is raw and tender. Allow it to do small repairs without fanfare. If a mind resists the thought of community, start smaller. Think of one person who once showed you gentleness. Picture their face. In the imagination, pass them a small light. Watch them hold it. Let that shared light be a reminder that presence travels easily between people. Presence does not deplete when it is given away. It multiplies. I remind gently that presence often arrives through small acts of listening. If you are near someone tonight, Offer the sound of your listening. Do not fix what they feel. Do not hurry to answers. Presence often looks like quiet attention. A steady listening ear can be the nearest thing to prayer for someone who is raw. When doubt presses, return to breath. Breathe in on 4 counts. Hold on 1. Breathe out on 6. Repeat this pattern until rhythm softens. Let the breath be a liturgy of rest. Each cycle is a short ceremony that says, for now, I rest here. For now, I allow help to come. I offer a simple practice for sharing this journey. If you keep a small journal, write a 1-line note after tonight's rest. It need not be deep. Note a single comfort, a sound, a scent, a moment of stillness. Share that line with one person in the morning. A brief message can be a seed. It invites another into a quiet practice without pressure. Now, I speak of hope as a quiet companion. Hope here is not loud. It is a small glow at the edge of awareness. It does not erase doubt. It lifts the next small step. Hope is practical. It helps with morning tasks. It steadies conversations. Let that glow sit near you. Let it be enough to guide the next breath. I read another short, plain line from the Bible. In my calm way, it describes a care that keeps watch when sleep is light and worries return. The imagery is gentle, a shepherd who knows the names of each one in the flock. Names are spoken softly and remembered. You are named, you are remembered. These words are meant to cradle more than to inform. If temptation comes to fix everything at once, offer a small refusal. Say inwardly, not tonight. Tonight I accept what is small. Tonight I let repair happen in slow increments. This refusal is not giving up. It is an act of trust. It places the heavy things in a safe storage until morning. There is value in simple ritual. Before sleep, make a small movement that says now rest begins. It can be as small as setting a cup aside, smoothing a blanket, or turning a page in a book. These motions create a closing of one part of the day. They signal the mind that the night is for healing. I invite you now to imagine passing the lamp to another. In the mind, offer the light to someone who might need it. Watch them receive it without hurry. This act of imagining becomes a quiet practice of community. It reaches beyond the room. It creates a chain of small mercies. Before this segment ends, breathe with me once more. Inhale slowly. Hold. Exhale fully. Feel the presence that has been named, settling like a soft weight. Know that rest is permitted. Know also that this is a shared way of living. You may come back to it tomorrow night. You may bring one friend. You may keep it as your private harbor. Any choice is small and holy. I will read more in the parts ahead. The readings will be short and steady. They will speak of nearness, mercy, and humble hope. For now, let the night do its gentle work. Let presence keep watch. Let community, small or imagined, remind you that you are not alone. Now rest. The lamp remains. The hand is near. The breath keeps a slow beat. Sleep in calm. I stay with this slow voice. I will return in the next part with another short passage and more quiet words. Let the peace you feel take root. Let it grow slowly. Let it be enough for tonight. I settle the lamp a little lower. The room cools. The voice stays slow. I begin this part with the thought that forgiveness is a simple room in the house of rest. It needs no long ceremony. It asks only for honesty and a willing hand. First, I name the calm near us. God's presence feels like an open window when the air inside has been stale. It refreshes quietly. It does not shout. It does not demand an explanation. It simply invites a clearing of the chest. Keep breathing slowly. Let the breath be a steady metronome. The rhythm helps the mind notice what asks for release. I invite one small action. Close the eyes if that helps. Bring to mind a single regret. Choose only one. Do not gather a list. One regret will do. It may be a thought, a word said too quickly, a thing left unfinished, a tone that hurt. Name it softly in the mind. The act of naming is like opening a window. It lets air move through the room. Next, imagine a gentle washing. Picture water that moves with care. It does not hurry. It does not splash. It flows over the hands and returns to the ground. Let that water touch the place where guilt sits. Watch the water gather small pebbles of worry and carry them away. The image is simple. Let it be tactile. Feel coolness on the fingers. Notice the small smoothness of the pebbles as they go. Confession in this hour is not a performance. It is a private handing over. If it helps, speak the word forgive in a whisper of the heart. No long explanation. No pleading for perfection. A single offering is enough for tonight. The gesture matters more than the eloquence. A tender hand placed on a wound begins healing. The naming does that work. I remind that forgiveness is not erasing memory. Memory stays. The shape of what happened remains part of the life. Forgiveness changes the power of the memory. It steps between the past and the restless mind like a steady door. That door allows warmth back into the room. It keeps the cold from entering again. Imagine a door closing gently after a long wind. The sound of the latch is a small assurance. There is mercy that meets small failures in practical ways. It repairs edges. It lines wounds with soft cloth. Picture an old book with a torn page. Mercy does not remove the tear as if it never occurred. Mercy mends the binding, so the book can be opened again. The mending is careful. It honors the story while making reading possible anew. A short ritual can be done in bed. Take a small bowl or cup. Fill it with water. Hold it as if it were something fragile. Let the hands feel the weight of the vessel. Pour a little water over the hands. Watch as the motion becomes a promise for tonight. I hand this to mercy. No more than that is required. Set the cup down. Let the hands rest open and empty. If water is not available, imagine a soft cloth. Lay it over the heart in the mind. Let it calm the roughness there. The cloth absorbs heat and softens edges. It reminds the heart that gentleness can be a form of apology and reception. Gentle repairs are often enough to open sleep into its full ease. I speak now of the freedom to forgive oneself. It is an act of courage to allow mercy inward. Start small. Forgive for one misstep. Allow the mind to rest. If another regret surfaces, repeat the same small practice. The bowl is large enough. The river is wide enough. Each offering lessens the burden by a little. There is a practical promise that steadies this work. The one who cares remembers patterns of failure and does not tally them as condemnation. Instead, mistakes are met with instruction, with a hand that helps a foot find steadier ground. This image keeps the heart from collapsing under shame. It puts shame into the posture of a student learning a new, gentler way. I read short reminders from Scripture in a soft way, not as proof but as company. The stories and images give a texture to mercy. They show that healing often comes in small tasks, not sudden erasures. A life changes by many quiet, faithful refusals of anger. A heart softens by repeated little acts of returning. The reading is slow and plain. It stays near the ear like a lullaby. Mercy works in time. Do not expect immediate perfect peace. Instead, trust the slow work. Imagine morning light coming up through a curtain. The room brightens gradually. The light does not demand a full view at once. It shows enough for the next step, so forgiveness grows, stitch by careful stitch. If there is fear that forgiving will invite further harm, hold that fear without rushing it away. Forgiveness does not always mean forgetting. It does not always mean stepping into risky situations without wisdom. Think of forgiveness as setting down a heavy load so that clear seeing can return. From that clearer place, safer choices can be made. Mercy and wisdom walk together. They are not the same, but they move in the same direction. Now practice a short breath lift. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 1. Exhale for 6 counts. On the inhale, name the regret silently. On the exhale, imagine the regret slipping like a leaf onto water. Watch it float away for a moment. Do this 3 times. Each cycle loosens the grip of the thought. The body responds. The shoulders relax. I ask for no theatrical sorrow, only honest recognition. A small sigh often follows this kind of admission. Let the sigh be a bell that rings the end of one part of the day. The bell does not erase the event. It marks a boundary. It says for now, repère Beguin. Rest will have a place. There is comfort in imagining a patient companion who listens. Picture someone who keeps steady eyes and does not rush. That companion holds no ledger. They know the ways of wounds and the routes of repair. In the quiet mind, place the named regret into their hands. Feel the relief of the transfer. The hands that receive are steady and kind. For those who carry regret for others' sake, a small practical step is possible tomorrow. A quiet note, a short apology, a small writing. The act should be simple and clear. It does not require fixing everything. It simply does what can be done. Trust that many small writings add up. They form a path away from the heavy center of guilt. If repair is not possible with another person, place the intention for repair in a small stone in the bowl. The stone holds the hope of mending. It keeps the desire alive until action is possible. Symbols like stones and bowls help the hands and mind to anchor a practice that words alone cannot hold. I remind gently that the night is a teacher. Sleep itself continues the work of forgiveness. Dreams sometimes sift through the day and return what is useful for healing. The body mends, and with it the mind finds access to new perspectives. Trust the night to do its portion. Do not rush to be finished. Forgiveness is often a series of steps. Expect gentleness, not perfection. Expect mornings when progress feels clearer. Expect nights when old hurts reappear. Each return is another chance to give the same regret to mercy again. The repetition is not failure. It is grace in a slow rhythm. Before this segment closes, take one final breath together. Inhale calmly. Hold briefly. Exhale fully. As the breath leaves, imagine a small door closing between the past and the present. It is not a harsh slam. It closes like a curtain that keeps warmth in. The closing is gentle and intentional. Place the hands where they rest best. Feel the small steadiness of the heart beneath the palm. Know that mercy is at work even when the mind stumbles. Know that this rest has been chosen as an act of trust. It is not escape. It is a deliberate handing over. I will return with another short passage in the next part. The readings ahead will continue to be slow and simple. They will touch on mercy, hope, and the small habits that let life breathe easier. For now, let forgiveness begin its quiet work in the spaces between breaths. Sleep is allowed. Mercy holds the unfinished page. The lamp burns low and steady. Rest in that care. The night will do its soft work. I stay with this slow voice until morning. I lower the lamp a fraction more. The room grows softer. I name the next thought simply understanding. I sit with that word a little while. I am the one who reads the Bible before sleep. My voice moves like a slow step across a wooden floor. Understanding is not a sudden fixing. It is a slow opening of a window. It lets in air that was stuck. It cools something that was raw. Tonight I think about how understanding connects with forgiving. The old line from Matthew reminds me that mercy often moves both ways. When one hand lets go, the other finds room to breathe. First, I offer a small truth. Understanding often begins with noticing. Noticing is quiet and patient. It looks for one small fact. A day someone seemed shorter with patience. A mouth that used sharper words than usual. A tiredness in the eyes. Begin by naming one small thing. That naming is gentle. It does not accuse. It makes space. Next, I suggest a simple practice of curiosity. Choose one person who feels heavy in the mind. Think of one small question about them, not a question that seeks proof, a question that seeks context. Ask, in the heart, what might be true about their day? What small thing might make them act that way? Stay with one question for a breath. Curiosity softens judgment. It does not absolve hurt. It simply loosens the tight knot that keeps the wound hot. Understanding also asks for limits. It is not a permission to stay in harm. Place a boundary as kindly as a gate. A gate keeps a garden safe. It does not make the gardener uncaring. Set one small boundary you can hold tomorrow. Say it softly in the mind. Boundaries are acts of care for the self and for the other. They keep mercy practical. I read a short, calm image from the pages I carry in my mind. The image is of one who knows names. He walks slowly among people and calls each by a single, steady name. Being known by that one is restful. In that knowing, forgiveness becomes easier to give. The heart relaxes because it feels seen. Let that image rest near the chest. Now a gentle breath practice. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. On the inhale, imagine a small book. The book contains one fact about the person who weighs on the heart. On the hold, open the cover and look at one line. On the exhale, close the book and place it on a shelf. Repeat this 3 times. Each cycle makes the fact less sharp. The book is not thrown away. It is stored without burning. There is a quiet mercy in imagining other lives. This is not a strategy to excuse harm. It is a practice that stretches the heart in small steps. If it helps, picture a short map of that person's life, only a corner of the map, perhaps a street where they learn to solve their own problems, perhaps a small loss that still sits in a pocket. Walk that corner for 1 breath. The walk is only an act of seeing. It brings softness, forgiving others so we, too, may be forgiven is practical in daily life. Holding on often feels like control. Letting go feels like risk. Yet, when one releases the grip, a space opens. The chest relaxes. Sleep comes easier. This is not only moral law, it is physiology. The body remembers when the shoulders drop. I offer a small task for morning, tomorrow. In a slow minute, practice an imagined apology that is not yours to make. Say in the mind, may you find what you need. That sentence is not weak. It is a quiet prayer. It releases the desire to fix everything. It places a wish for the other's well-being in safe hands. Often that release invites blessing back into the life. Understanding grows in rhythms of repetition. Do not expect an overnight conversion. Imagine an old clock that winds slowly. Each winding brings the hands a little closer to showing calm. Small acts of curiosity. Small refusals to rehearse a hurt. Small prayers for the one who wounded these are the winds that run the mechanism of mercy. Over time, movement becomes steadier. I speak softly of self-understanding as well. The mind that judges others harshly is often the same mind that judges itself. Turn the question inward for a moment. Name one way the same pressure shows up in the chest. Notice it without shame. Offer the same curiosity inward. What small need lies under this harshness? This inward noticing is religion in the humble sense. It tends the terrain inside and makes outward mercy possible. There is a careful line to keep. Understanding must not become a cloak for dangerous patterns. If harm repeats in ways that endanger body or soul, seek help. Name one practical step to take if needed. A call tomorrow. A conversation in daylight. A boundary set clearly. Mercy and wisdom travel together. They hold hands. I read now, in a low tone, a tiny paraphrase of a passage that says mercy keeps watch, even when mistakes are counted. It is not a sharp judgment. It is a steady guide. Trust that care meets failure with instruction, not with a ledger. Let that thought land like a blanket. A practice of small confession helps too, not a long self-flagellation. One sentence of admission needs muscle like heat. Try I was wrong in this one way. Say it in the mind. Place it gently on the table near the lamp. Then breathe and let the body realign. Confession loosens the clutch of guilt and allows repair to begin. Repair often looks like tiny acts, a short word of kindness tomorrow, a corrected tone, a time kept. If reconciliation is to be sought, plan one small, safe move, a brief note, an offered cup, a quiet listening. Keep the steps small enough to manage. Large reconciliations grow from small, trustable deeds. If another is not ready, that is a fact to hold with patience. Mercy does not force a reunion. It prepares a path for one. Understanding the depth of our own need is a soft place to rest. The gospel I read is full of people who come tired, confused, small. They receive a hand that does not scold first. That simple pattern is repeated in many small scenes. Let those scenes be company tonight. They tell us something practical. Tenderness meets the tired and kindness changes the worn. A brief exercise for bedtime is to place one stone on an imagined bridge. The bridge connects two small islands. One island is mine. The other is the person who has hurt me. Place a stone of compassion on the bridge. Hold it for 3 breaths. Let it sit. Know that one stone does not complete the crossing. It begins one. Building a bridge takes time. Each small offering adds a steady weight that makes crossing possible. I remind gently that forgiveness also invites personal change. When mercy is given, the giver often learns a new softness in the voice. Habits of sharpness, dull. Eyes find room to rest. That change is a quiet gift. It is not a performance. It is a real shift in how the day is carried forward. Before closing, a final breathing practice. Breathe in for 4. Pause for 2. Breathe out for 7. As the breath leaves, imagine a thin ribbon slipping from the hands. The ribbon is the small demand to be right. Watch it fall. Let it go. This letting is not a loss. It is a lightening. I will read again in the next part. More quiet passages will follow. They will speak to the ways mercy and understanding meet in daily act. For now, choose one small seed of understanding to hold through the night. Keep it simple. Keep it gentle. Rest with the thought that being known matters. Being known softens judgment. Being known opens space for grace. Sleep in that care. The lamp stays low. The room keeps its steady hush. I stay with a slow voice until the next breath. I turn the page gently and let a simple word rest between us. Grace. I am the one who reads the Bible before you go to sleep. My voice stays soft. Tonight, I hold that word like a small lamp. Grace is a gift. It is not something earned by checklist or by long effort. It comes as a present, placed in a lap. Imagine a wrapped parcel on a simple table. The wrapping is plain. The gift inside is good beyond what the packaging suggests. The moment you accept it, no more tallying is needed. The gift changes how the day sits on the shoulders. I speak of Romans, not as lecture, but as comfort. The passage I carry says that being made right with God is a gift of grace. It is given freely. No extra work can make it more or less. That freedom is quiet like a meadow in morning light. It does not brag. It simply exists as a steady fact you can lean on when the mind grows thin. Grace is like warm cloth on tired limbs. Picture a blanket folded and waiting at the foot of a bed. The day may have scraped knees and frayed edges. The blanket does not ask for explanation. It wraps. The warmth does not have to be justified. That is the shape of this grace. It meets what is worn, and it does so without counting how it came to be. I invite a gentle exercise. Rest the hands on the chest. Feel the breath for 1 slow minute. On each exhale, place one small worry into an imagined box on the bedside table. Name it with one word. Keep the word brief. A word like worry, debt, loneliness, tiredness, adhesition. When the box holds a single name, close its lid. Know that the box is not locked for punishment. It is kept safe by a larger hand that watches without hurry. Understanding grace this way alters how surrender works. Surrender is not the same as defeat. It is not giving up in a hollow sense. Surrender is a simple handing over. Imagine carrying a heavy lantern for hours. Finally, you let another take it. The relief comes immediately. The other keeper does not take the light from you. They simply hold it for a while. Your steps become lighter. Surrendering worries grows from the same trust. There is a short, soft line in the scripture that invites us hand over your anxieties because someone cares. I read that not to press guilt, but to offer relief. The command is like a small gate in a garden. Walk through it. Place burdens on the stone beside the gate. Stay a moment. Feel the difference. Try a small practice now. Breathe in for 4 counts. On the breath, bring to mind one persistent worry. Hold it there gently. Breathe out for 6 counts and imagine placing that worry onto a wide leaf on a still pond. See the leaf take weight and begin to drift. Watch the ripple carry it away. Repeat twice. Each cycle is a tiny act of handing over. Grace and surrender work together. Grace receives what we hand over without demanding proof. Surrender trusts that receiving. Picture 2 hands won from you. Small and open, one from above. Steady and sure. Place a pebble of worry into the open hand. The exchange is simple. No bargaining, no long speech. The hand that receives is capable of carrying many stones. This way of thinking keeps the night quiet. It does not require big changes in the dark hours. It asks only for a small transfer. Let the quiet practice be name one worry. Place it gently into mercy's hand. And breathe. If another worry rises, do the same. The lamp in the room does not flare. It keeps a steady glow. Your breath keeps a steady rhythm. The mind notices and eases. There is a mercy that looks like a riverbank. Imagine yourself seated on a low stone. The river carries leaves, small sticks, and tiny troubles. You pick up one trouble and lay it on the water. The current is willing. It takes the thing away. It does not hold it for your inspection. That is the kindness of grace. It moves the heavy things out of reach of sleepless replay. Sometimes surrender feels risky. The mind asks, what if I lose control? Risk here is gentle. Surrender is an experiment carried out in trust. Try a safe step tomorrow too. A short prayer by the bedside. A brief note to a friend that says, simply, I handed this over tonight. Will you hold it with me? Sharing a small part of the load makes practice more real than an abstract promise. Keep the language simple. Grace is not a scorecard. It is not a reward program. It is a steady provision. It arrives like a quiet tide. It lifts even the boats that feel too small to float. Let that image rest a little craft. Steady water beneath. An unseen hand guiding. Surrendering worries often reveals hidden needs. When a worry is handed over, sometimes what remains is not emptiness, but a small ache. Name that ache. It might be fatigue, a need for forgiveness, the wish for a conversation tomorrow. A careful list helps. Make the list as if you are writing notes for the morning. One small step per item. This keeps the night restful while allowing hope for daylight repair. If guilt presses, return to the gift image. Grace is present for guilt too. It is not surprised by failure. It holds failure in a way that begins mending. Picture a seamstress at a small table. The garment your life has a tear. Grace does not rip the cloth to pretend nothing happened. It gently stitches, choosing strong thread and patient stitches. Over time, the pattern of repair becomes a new part of the garment's beauty. Keep mercy close to real needs. A tired body needs rest. A worried mind needs gentle tasks for the morning. A lonely heart needs a short hello. Grace attends to these practical things. It quietly rearranges what is possible. It does not erase the work of living. It steadies it. I read anew a passing line from Scripture to myself. It reminds me that the gift I speak of is given freely. It is not meted out by performance. That freedom is restful. It closes the need to produce one more thing before sleep. Let that freedom be the last small rule of the day tonight. No further earning of rest. If fear of tomorrow presses, take a single, manageable planning step. Write one sentence. Tomorrow, I will do the thing needed. Keep the sentence small. A short plan reduces the mind's habit of rehearsing worry. With one small step scheduled, the rest of the night opens. The mind accepts the plan and allows the body to loose. Grace offers also a horizon. It says that mistakes do not close off all possibility. The horizon remains. Hope sits there quietly. It is not loud. It is not brash. It is patient like dawn. Watch that horizon for a moment. Let its calm widen the chest. When surrender is resisted by doubt, remember the practice of exchange. Place one worry into the imagined hand. repeated without drama. The repetition is itself a small faith. It trains the body and mind to trust a slow truth. Help is available. It is active even in the small hours. I slow the voice further now. Imagine a small room with a single chair. In that chair sits Grace. It is not flashy. It is steady and warm. Walk into the room and sit for a moment. Lay down the coat of the day. Place the worries at the foot of the chair. Sit with the silence. Feel the chair support the body. Let the quiet agree with the breath. Before this part closes, a final breathing practice. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 1 count. Exhale for 7 counts. On the inhale, name a single worry. On the exhale, imagine it leaving like a small paper boat on water. Watch it drift until it is a dot on the horizon. Repeat 3 times. I promise the voice will return in the next part. More short passages will follow. They will keep the same pace. They will not demand argument. They will offer mercy, hope, and a steady closeness that helps the body yield to sleep. Now rest. Accept the gift offered. Hand over the worry you named. Let grace do its quiet work. The lamp remains low. The room is wide enough. Sleep in that calm. I stay with this slow voice until the next breath. I set the Bible in my lap and slow my breathing. The room listens. My hand opens the page and rests there like a quiet guest. I say the old scene in simple words. The words move like a small river. They do not demand attention. They offer shelter. I picture a shepherd who knows the way of small hills. He walks without hurry. His eyes notice the tender grass and the cool hollows where water gathers. The sheep follow because the path feels safe. The shepherd does not shout. He tends to what is nearest a bent reed, a thorn caught in a hoof, a need for shade. In that care there is rest. The ground is green where the shepherd leads. It looks soft enough to lay down upon. The grass does not judge. It simply gives. A place like that is an invitation to lie down and feel the weight of the body melt into the earth. I imagine pressing the cheek to the cool of the meadow and letting the chest widen without effort. The idea is simple. Rest can begin when the bones allow it. I picture still water. It sits without fuss. The surface is like glass for a moment. The air around it is calmer. When a sheep drinks, the water receives the head and gives it back a steadier rhythm. The motion of drinking is small and necessary. It resets the pulse. The shepherd watches. He stays close to make sure the drink is safe. Presence protects the need for refreshment. There is a slow repair that comes in those fields. A foot healed by quiet, a small wound cleaned and dressed without hurry. The shepherd moves a hand like a careful seamster. Repair does not shout its success. It happens in small stitches, in repeated care. Or team, the animal walks more sure. The body remembers steadier rhythms. This is the sort of tending that mercy looks like. Paths unfold in a gentle order. They are not made by force. They arise because someone familiar has walked them many times. The shepherd knows the safe ways to step. He leads away from rocky ground that slips and toward tracks that hold. When the path bends, the shepherd stays near until the next steady place appears. Guidance is quiet. It asks only that feet follow slowly. There are valleys with long shadows. They are darker than the meadow, and the mind can imagine them as menacing. In those stretches, the breathing may shorten. The knees may feel the ground's chill. Yet the shepherd walks there too. He is present in shadow as much as in light. His company steadies, even when the eyes do not see a clear step. The presence itself is a kind of shelter that keeps fear from swelling. Comfort comes in small instruments, a staff held gently in hand, a rod used not to frighten, but to guide. They point and prod in ways that make small corrections. They are tools of care. The touch of a staff at the shoulder reminds a wandering step of the proper track. These instruments do not dominate. They assist. They steady the body and the mind. There are images that surprise by their plainness. Imagine a table set in the open. A simple cloth. A cup. A bowl. The table stands where others can see it, even where places feel unsafe. The table is prepared. Hospitality looks like abundance placed within view. It speaks a brave assurance. Provision is present, even when threats linger. To sit at that table is to accept welcome in plain sight. A hand moves like anointing oil across a brow. The oil is warm and fragrant. It is not a show. It is small ceremony that honors the person who sits. The anointing does not erase the day's dust. It acknowledges worth in slow, tactile language. It leaves a scent that lingers like a memory of being chosen. A cup fills and spills over. The overflow is not waste. It is evidence of abundance that reaches beyond the rim. It touches the table, the cloth, the ground. The overflow suggests enough for more than one circle. It implies generosity that is not stingy. Where the cup overflows, comfort flows for others too. Goodness and mercy do not appear as distant ideas. They walk along behind, like two companions on a road. Their steps are steady. They are not silent ghosts. They leave warm impressions in the dust. They follow in such a way that a life never walks alone. At times they step ahead to show a safe place. At other times they stand close, steadying trembling feet. Their company becomes the map for the long journey. The home the shepherd leads toward is not an abstract promise. It feels like a doorway with a soft threshold, a room that holds both quiet and welcome. To dwell there is to be given a place to stay beyond a single night. The idea of dwelling suggests long patience. It means returning to a settled shelter where small repairs continue and where voices soften. When the mind rehearses worst-case scenes, I bring it back by naming presence again. I place a hand over the heart and feel the breath. The rhythm is small and true. Each inhale and exhale is an evidence that the story continues and that the shepherd's care accompanies that story. The simple sense of being held does not solve every problem. It changes the shape of the night. Mercy in this picture looks like the daily acts that make life livable. A foot washed, a pillow smoothed, a blanket tucked. These gestures are unremarkable and they matter. They add up. Over time, they rebuild courage in small measures. They show a steady faithfulness that does not announce itself loudly. Hope here is not a distant shore beyond sight. It is the next step on a safe path. It is the knowledge that when morning comes, the work of repair continues. It is a quiet tether that allows sleep to arrive without a mind racing at full speed. Hope in this passage holds close the practical. Tomorrow is a morning with hands ready to help. Not an abstract promise to be waited for at a distance. Fear sometimes insists on being louder. When it pushes, I return to breath, to touch, to simple images. Repeat a slow inhale, pause. Let the exhale be longer. Imagine the shepherd's shadow crossing the ground. Imagine a steady hand on the shoulder. Small physical sensations anchor the mind in gentleness. If there is grief that sits heavy, I allow it space. Grief is a part of the path. The shepherd does not hurry its passage. He walks it with the one who carries it. Tears are not interruptions to care. They are part of repair. Let them come. Let them be met with a steady presence that neither scolds nor dismisses. Presence can hold both sorrow and rest. I place one small ritual before sleep. I fold a corner of the page and breathe in. The breath carries a single name of a need. I do not need to list everything. One thing finds a place to rest. I imagine setting it down in the shepherd's hand. The action is private and simple. The letting go is practical. A short practice for later in the dark hour, when memories return like scattered leaves. Imagine the shepherd's voice calling a name, not loudly, not with force, just a calling that says, "Come," name by name. The voice gathers what is scattered. The act is kind and methodical. It is not magical, only patient. This passage invites a trust that is not naive. It asks for steady, small acts. On step toward mercy. One hand laid down on a wound. One cup offered at a plain table. Each act builds the habit of rest. Rest comes less as an achievement and more as a settled habit to be led, to drink, to be tended, to be sheltered. Before closing, I breathe slowly with a gratitude that is small and true. Gratitude here is not a list of bright things. It is the recognition of a hand that guides the next step. It is the feeling of a cup that fills and spills. It is finding a corner of the room where light warms the cheek. I will read more in the next part. The pace remains soft. The images remain practical and close to the ground. They are meant to steady sleep, not to start a debate. For now, settle into the picture of green grass, still water, and a steady guide at a measured pace. Rest. Now, let the shepherd's presence be closer than the night's loud thoughts. Allow the small rituals to carry the day into sleep. The house stands ready. The cup waits. The path remains gentle under a steady step. I stay here and keep the voice slow until the next breath. I turn the page slowly and begin a small story. I read it as a quiet picture. The story is short and plain. It tells of one sheep that wanders off while the flock grazes. The flock seems safe. A gap appears. Someone notices. The shepherd counts and counts again. A single life is missing. The thought settles like a pebble. One small life out of many matters. That thought is the hinge of the story. It holds a kindness that feels large and near. The shepherd does not mark the loss as a statistic. He moves in the night to find what is gone. He does not stand still in the light and wait for answers. He steps into darkness. The search begins with a single movement. That movement is patient and steady. Imagine the scene. The hills are dim. The path is rough. The wind plays with loose grass. The shepherd walks slowly. His feet know the ground. He listens for the faintest sound. He calls again and waits. The calls are not loud. They are not demands. They are the tone of one who expects return. Walking in the dark is not easy. Rocks press into soles. Thorns catch at cloaks. A body tired from the day wants to rest. Still, the shepherd moves onward. He stoops sometimes to look under low branches. He checks shallow hollows where a small animal might slip. The care is practical. It looks for the ordinary places where loss hides. At a small slope, a bleating returns. The sound is thin and small. The shepherd follows the voice. He finds the sheep tangled in a bramble. Breath is quick. The animal looks worn and frightened. The shepherd does not scold. He does not ask why the sheep left. He removes the thorns with slow hands. He lifts the sheep onto his shoulders. The act is tender. The weight is taken with ease. The sheep rests its whole body against him and begins to calm. The journey back is softer than the going. The route is familiar now. The night seems less hostile. The shepherd walks with one shoulder bent under the sheep's weight and the other arm steadying the cloak. The sheep trusts the warmth. Its legs relax. The fear loosens. The steady steps are a quiet lullaby. At home, the light is not a glare. It is enough to see hands and faces. The shepherd sets the sheep down. He brushes off the small burrs. He tends the wound with gentle motions. There is no public blaming. There is a quiet making whole. A welcome waits by the door. The sheep is not asked for proof of repentance. It is wrapped in care and brought back into the fold. The story holds a soft promise. One who watches for the lost will not leave them where they fell. The search is not a passing notice. It is a devoted effort. The message is this: a life is worth the going out into the dark. Hearing this, maybe a small name of yours rises in the mind. Perhaps a single worry feels like a wandering sheep tonight. Maybe there is a part of the heart that slipped away into a bramble of fear. If so, listen to the quiet of the story. It brings a simple reassurance. Search comes before celebration. Help comes before a feast. Care comes before a question. I ask you to imagine being found. Close the eyes, if that feels right. Picture a tired body, thin with worry. Feel a broad shoulder beneath the cheek. Feel arms that move without counting the cost. Let that image be literal in the chest for one slow breath. On the next exhale, let a small fear soften. Let the shoulders lower. There is a tenderness in being carried, the weight of failure, of doubt, of loneliness. These can be set down, not all at once. Perhaps one small stone at a time. Place one worry on an imagined shoulder. Feel the shepherd accept it without surprise. Breathe. Know that what was heavy becomes lighter in the act of being carried. The story also reminds that protection is practical. A shepherd knows how to shelter a wandering animal from night chill. He knows where the grasses are gentle and where water runs clear. The care is not vague. It is specific. It meets real needs: a dry place, a warm covering, a gentle cleaning. Think tonight of one simple need you have. Imagine it met in small, clear ways. Picture a dry corner of a room. Picture a clean cloth. Picture a small bowl of water. Let those images calm the mind. If fear says that wandering proves unworthiness, let the story respond. The shepherd does not tally mistakes. The search does not wait for merit. The movement toward the lost is the very proof of worth. The seeking itself declares value. This is not an argument. It is a quiet truth that rests like a stone in the hand. Sometimes the mind rehearses the journey to the bramble. It traces choices and imagines blame. The story suggests a kinder way. Notice one step that led away, then look at the hand that reaches to retrieve. The reaching hand is steady. It is not a surprise guess. It comes as the reliable response. Trust can grow from such repeated recoveries. There is another small point. The shepherd rejoices when the sheep returns. The joy is not loud or flashy. It is plain and certain. It shows in warm eyes, in shared bread, in a simple greeting. The welcome is not a performance. It is a return to belonging. Imagine being welcomed home by a calm voice, by a warm cloth placed over cold shoulders, by the simple sound of being named again. Let that welcome be a balm. I read these lines slowly because the rhythm matters. The cadence itself is part of the comfort. Each phrase unpeels some tightness. Each pause invites a breath. Breathe with me now. Inhale slowly. Hold a calm breath. Exhale as if laying a small stone down. Repeat 3 times. Feel the body accept weight laid down. If the night brings memories that sting, think of the shepherd's hands. They are patient. They do not demand a full story before beginning a single gentle action. In the night, a small repair may be all that is possible. Later, daylight may bring fuller mending. For now, allow small acts of care to do their work. The tale also carries a steady hope. The shepherd continues to watch even after the sheep sleeps. He keeps a light in the doorway. He moves from one sleeping body to another, checking each breath. The watchfulness is not frantic. It is a calm routine of care. Imagine that routine as a promise that the night holds guard while the body rests. For someone who worries about the cost of being found, listen to the quiet end of the story. The shepherd carries the sheep home and does not leave it at the gate. The welcome sits at the center of the house. The feast is simple. The table holds a loaf, a goop. The scene celebrates return. It does not ask for reparations. It shows the plain fact of belonging restored. Before this part closes, try a small practice. Rest the hands where they are comfortable. Picture a bramble that sits inside the chest. One single small fear or grief. Give it a name. Only one word. Place that word on the shepherd's shoulder in the imagination. Breathe out. Watch the words settle there. Let the mind notice the difference between holding and handing over. If sleep is slow tonight, return to the image of being carried. When the mind tightens, imagine the shoulder under the cheek. Picture the steady feet moving along a familiar route. Picture the folds of a cloak that smell of home. These sensory details help the body follow the imagination into calm. I do not promise that wandering will never happen again. The story is honest about that. The path is long. The ground can be treacherous. Yet the shepherd's pattern gives work to hope. Repetition of care reshapes the day. The knowledge that search will come reduces the sharpness of fear. A life held in that pattern breathes easier. Now the voice slows further. The lamp of attention dims to a friendly glow. Let the story settle like a blanket. Let the final breath be a small ceremony. Inhale gently. Hold the quiet. Exhale and feel the body soften. Rest in the reassurance that someone goes out to find what is lost. Tonight, sleep in that care. The search is not absent. The shepherd moves, steps by step, into the dark to bring back what strays. Provision and protection walk with that movement. Rest trusts that steady work. I will read again in the next part. For now, let the picture of being found carry you towards sleep. The lamp sits low and steady. I am the one who reads the Bible before you drift into sleep. Tonight, I turn the quiet toward a simple promise that moved through an old page long ago. The voice in that page speaks of a love that does not change. It says that this love reaches out again and again, long beyond the limits of a single day. I keep the words slow and plain, because the heart hears best when the voice is soft. Think of love as a kind of coastline. Waves come and go. Storms lash the shore. Yet the shore itself remains. It holds the water and shapes it back into gentle motion. That is the image that visits me when I read of an everlasting affection. The shore is not the storm. It is the place the tide returns to. So much of life feels like weather. The promise is that something steadier keeps watch on the edge of the day, after the story of the lost sheep. This promise feels near. The search and the finding come from the same heart. The one who goes into the dark goes because love goes first. The going is not an item on a ledger. It is not a business transaction. It is a movement made simply because a life is beloved. That steadiness changes how wandering looks in the night. Wandering does not end the story. The reaching hand begins another part of it. The old words speak of being drawn with unfailing kindness. Picture that drawing is a soft tug on a cloak, not a harsh pull, not a yank that bruises, a gentle hand at the fold of the garment, bringing a tired shoulder nearer to warmth. The tug does not demand explanations. It simply moves toward home. Let that be a picture in the chest for a moment. Feel the shoulder relax as the cloak is guided. There is no need for a long justification tonight. I invite a slow breath with this image. Breathe in for 4 counts. On that breath, imagine a gentle pull, like the tide lifting a small boat. Hold for 1 count, feeling the near warmth. Breathe out for 6 counts, and let a small worry slide from the hands and float away. Repeat twice more. Each cycle is a quiet practice of being drawn in without performance. The word everlasting is not meant to be heavy. It is meant to be a steady tenor under the day's noise. Think of roots under a tree. Seasons change. Leaves fall and return. Yet the root keeps the tree alive through every weather. The love the page names is like that root. It runs deep beneath seasons of doubt, beneath seasons of fear. It is not a promise of an easy path. It is the promise that steady care undergirds the path you walk. There is tenderness in this kind of love. It notices small things. A pulse that races, a mouth that will not close from worry, a hand that fidgets with a blanket. The watching love leans toward those small things. It does not wait for big confessions. It meets the minor scrape and the hidden ache in the quiet reading tonight. Picture that leaning as a hand that smooths a rumpled pillow. The motion is small and concrete. It helps sleep arrive. Sometimes the mind asks whether being loved depends on doing things right. Tonight, the answer can be simple less so than the restless heart fears. The love I read about does not keep a list of performances. It keeps a watch. That watch looks more like hospitality than judgment. Imagine a lantern in a window. The light is there before you reach the doorstep. It does not ask you to clean your shoes before you come in. The light simply waits. The pulling of kindness also means repair. When a bone is bruised, the hand that carries will set it gently. The work is careful. It does not hurry the healing. Picture the slow work of a seamstress mending a favorite coat. The stitches are steady. The thread is chosen to strengthen, not to disguise the history of the tear. Love like that mending keeps the story whole while making future where possible. If the night brings guilt that presses, try a small practice. Name one small weight on the breath. Do not gather a long inventory. Choose one. Hold it for one quiet beat. Then imagine laying that weight into a wide, steady hand. See the hand close around it with no shock. Feel a relief that is small but real. Breathe out. The body notices the easing. Repeat if another single weight rises. The act is not a ritual for the perfect. It is a practical transfer of burden. Kindness that draws also keeps its promises across time. The voice of the old page remembers names from long ago. It is not a fleeting attention. The memory there is tender and sure. That remembrance means you are not a transient thought. You are named. Again and again. Let that naming be like a light that returns each evening to a familiar window. The light says, "You are known. You belong." There is another way to imagine this drawing. Think of a quiet current under the surface of a pond. The surface may look agitated with small ripples. Underneath, a steady flow carries fallen leaves to a gentle bank. The flow is often unseen, but it matters. It shapes the pond's life. The kindness that draws is sometimes under the surface of loud feelings. It moves things toward healing quietly and persistently. Practical mercy appears in small forms. A warm mug left within reach. A cord tucked where it will not trip tired feet. A word of assurance in a whisper. The ancient promise meets these small mercies like a many-handed care. Imagine the small table beside the bed as a point where the day's loose ends are set down. Place one small worry there tonight. Picture the table's surface, steady and kind. That small practice makes a real difference for sleep. When doubts about the future press, bring them to a single, manageable light. Plan one tiny thing for morning. A note to oneself, a step that is small and doable. Write it as if you are handing the next day a helpful tool. This practical move often calms the mind enough to accept the unchanging love that waits through the night. The combination of present trust and small preparation helps the body trust rest. The drawing of kindness also means rescue without shame. In the parable, the shepherd does not ask the sheep to explain. The action is to retrieve. The act itself declares worth. Being sought out is a proof that the heart matters. If the mind imagines that wandering proves unworthiness, let the image of being carried change that thought. The carrying itself is the answer. It is not a postscript. It is the main sentence of the story. For the one who cares for others, this truth offers a gentleness to practice. When a friend wanders into anxious patterns, reach with patience rather than force. A steady presence encourages return in small steps. The drawing of kindness asks for patience like a slow, careful hand finding a knot and easing it. Small, repeated acts build a trustable path. If sleep arrives slowly, return to the simple breath practice and the image of the gentle tug. Breathe in and feel the steady pull. Breathe out and let a worry fall away. Repeat until the body hears the rhythm. The rhythm itself becomes a small prayer. Without many words, trust this care. Allow this kindness. Receive this drawing. As this part closes, a quiet ritual may help. Place the hand over the heart. Feel the steady beat. Imagine that beat is matched by another steady heart nearby. That matching is the unchanging love at work. Lay one small concern into that imagined hand. Close the eyes and feel the clasp. Breathe slowly 3 times. Let the last exhale widen the chest a little. Know that being drawn is not a hurried thing. It is the patient tending that stretches across nights and mornings. The lamp remains low. The image of a shore. A gentle pool. A steady root sits near the ear. Rest in the reality that something keeps watch and moves toward what strays. The pursuit is not frantic. It is constant. It is kind. I will read again in the next part. More short passages will follow. They will remain simple and slow. For now, let this unchanging love be enough to steady the night. Let it draw you towards sleep. Let the rest come in small measures and truth. The room holds. The light waits. The care does not cease. Rest now in that steady drawing. I lower the lamp before I begin. The Bible lies open in my lap. I am the one who reads before you go to sleep. I keep my voice slow and steady. Tonight, I turn to a quiet scene at the beginning. I think about rest given at the center of creation. The image is simple. The day ends. The work pauses. The land breathes in. The Maker rests. That rest is not tired defeat. It is a deliberate stopping. It is a blessing placed on a day and held for all days after. Imagine a field at dusk. The last light softens the stalks. The air cools. The world inhales. That is the quality of the rest I read about. Rest is holy. In the same way, a harbor is holy. A harbor is not a place that does nothing. It is a place that receives ships after long travel. It steadies, timbers. It prevents drift. Rest is like that. It receives the busy hands and the worried mind. It makes mending possible. It is a space where repair can begin. I invite a short practice. Place your hands where they feel natural. Breathe slowly. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold 1. Exhale for 6. On the inhale, name the smallest task that waits for you tomorrow. On the exhale, imagine placing that task on a stone at your feet. Let the stone hold it through the night. Do this 3 times. Each time the stone feels a little heavier, and the shoulders a little less so. Creation rests because its work is complete. For the moment, the sun does not force the stars to stop. The rivers do not need instruction to pause when they reach calm water. Rest is woven into the pattern of things. It is not an afterthought. It is a covenant of rhythm. This means rest is not earned by better performance. It is given as part of the order of life. Think of a garden in evening light. The soil still holds the warmth of the day. Leaves close their angles. A slow insect settles on a leaf. A breeze that moved the branches all day softens. In that quiet, everything is allowed to be exactly what it is. A visitor could walk through without needing to explain. The garden receives the feet that come tired, and the hands that once tended. That reception is a form of blessing. If a mind resists, permission to stop. Begin with a small symbol. Choose one piece of clothing or a single object associated with work. Gently fold it. Place it aside. The motion is small but meaningful. It tells the body and the mind the work is not demanded right now. Symbols teach habit. They shape the night into a shelter. I read the ancient thought, not to enforce rules, but to offer a sanctuary. The 7th-day rest is an example of intentional pause. God bless the day. The blessing is a quiet word. It says this stopping matters. The blessing turns ordinary rest into something sacred. To receive rest is to accept a gift that comes with a tenderness toward the whole person. Practical mercy often looks like simple tending. Tonight, imagine a basin of warm water and a cloth. Lay one hand in the warm water. Feel the temperature on the skin. Let the hand be steadied by the warmth. If a physical ritual helps, wipe the face or the wrists slowly. The small washing echoes the deeper rest. It says, for now, care arrives in manageable gestures. Rest that is blessed pays attention to the small edges of life. It tends to sleep and to preparedness. It does not mean being careless. It means arranging the night so the body can surrender. Make one small adjustment before you close your eyes. Move a glass within reach. Fold a blanket. Set a quiet clock where its tick is not loud. These small acts are the housekeeping of rest. They show love to the nighttime hours. There is a steady rhythm in creation work. Then rest. The two belong together. Rest does not devalue work. It honors it. A field that never rests loses fertility. Muscles that never rest lose strength. The blessed pause restores capacity. It renews focus. It returns the mind to better judgment in the morning. Think of sleep as a small apprenticeship in renewal. The body learns again how to be strong gently. Allow the imagination a short picture. Sit by a quiet stream in your mind. You do not have to cross it. You sit and listen. The water does not demand action. It simply moves. Stones at the edge receive the trickle. Leaves drift slowly. Rest that resembles this stream is active in a soft way. It is a practice of allowing movement without urgency. The heart becomes softer simply by attending to that motion. Some nights worry will insist on staying up. When that happens, make a contained place for worry. Picture a small sack on the bedside table. Place one worry in the sack. Do not list more than one at a time. Tie the sack gently. Imagine setting it on a shelf and closing the door softly. The act does not solve the worry. It sets an appropriate boundary. Boundaries help the mind know night is not the time for endless fixing. Blessing the rest also has a quiet moral. Do not let rest become a stage for shame. The ancient day was blessed without a demand for finished perfection. Mistakes remain. Unfinished tasks remain. The blessing is not conditional. It covers the imperfections and allows sleep to work its slow repairs. Let this be your practice. Receive the blessing without performance. I offer a short breath ritual tied to this blessing. Place the hand over the heart. Breathe in slowly. On the inhale, think this rest is given. Hold the breath a beat. On the exhale, say inwardly, I accept it. Repeat 3 times. The voice inside is gentle. The gesture anchors a simple trust. It is not about solving concerns. It is about letting a thing be true for a moment. Creation's rest has a communal character. The day was blessed not only for one life, but for all that live. Rest, then, is also about sharing space. In the same way, a field allows many seeds to lie warm. The rest you receive helps others when you wake. Sleep replenish patience. It repairs the parts that care for others. Accepting rest is a practical kindness to those who will meet you tomorrow. Consider a small bedtime ritual to mark this acceptance. Light a candle if that feels safe and calming. Sit with it for a breath or two. Let its flame be a sign of the quiet offering the day made, or speak a single sentence of thanks under your breath. Keep it brief. The sentence is not a theological lecture. It is a soft closing of the day. The practice trains the heart to notice the sacredness of stopping. If the mind asks whether rest will let important things slip, plan one tiny morning task. A short note or a simple list for the first hour of daylight calms the mind. The plan is practical. It gives the restless brain a place to set its urgency. Then the night can be truly restful. The morning will hold the care you need to resume the work. Some beds hold memory like a stain. Old nights leave crumbs of anxiety that feel stubborn. This blessed rest reaches into even those dark pockets. It does not erase the past. It changes the hold the past has on the present. The night becomes a place where wounds soften enough for small healing. To begin, that softening is not always immediate. It is steady and faithful. I read these images slowly because the pace is part of the gift. short phrases, space between sentences, breath between thoughts. The voice is not a tool to prove a point. It is a companion that helps the mind catch its breath. Let the cadence itself be part of the rest. Follow the rhythm like a familiar footfall. Before I close this part, choose one simple act to do tonight. It can be folding a scarf, setting a glass of water, or naming one small hope for morning. Do it with calm intent. Let the motion be unhurried. Make it an offering to the rest. You accept. The smallness helps the body and the mind trust the blessing. I will return with the next passage. The readings ahead keep the same gentle pace. They do not demand answers. They offer a steady presence. For now, rest in the image of the garden at dusk, of a field that breathes in, and of a blessing placed on the day. Let sleep take the task of renewing the heart. The rest of creation waits with a quiet, holy patience. Close your eyes if that feels right. Take one more deep breath with me. Inhale slowly. Hold. Exhale fully. Feel the body settle. Accept the quiet as part of the order. Sleep in that blessed pause. I stay with the slow voice until the next breath. I lower the lamp a little more. The room grows softer. I am the one who reads the Bible before you sleep. Tonight, I lead a short prayer of thanks. I keep the words slow. I keep them plain. I invite the heart to rest in simple gratitude. Settle where you are. Let the body feel its weight. Rest the hands on the lap or the chest. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out longer. Let the breath become a gentle wheel that turns the day towards stillness. I breathe with you. My voice stays soft. The sound itself is part of the prayer. I begin by naming the shape of thanks. Gratitude is not a list to win. It is a small turning of the mind toward good things that already arrive. It notices. It receives. It does not argue. It does not force brightness where weariness sits. Tonight we thank for small things. The small things steady larger hope. First, choose one simple gift from today. It need not be grand. Perhaps a warm cup, a safe step, a kind word. Hold that single image lightly in the mind. Let it be like a pebble in the palm. Feel its small weight. Say inwardly, thank you for this. Do not explain. Do not prove. Receive it. Next, look for one person who came near in some small way. Perhaps a neighbor's brief hello, a friend's quick message. The steady presence of someone who helps in quiet ways. Picture their face for one breath. Offer thanks for the one who appears without fanfare. Bless the memory of their kindness with a soft inward word. Then, notice one inner mercy. Maybe a moment when a harsh thought softened. Maybe a small courage that rose when it was needed. Name that mercy quietly. Let it be like oil on a whispering sore. Give thanks for the way care arrives in the hidden places. If you like, use a small action to seal the thanks. Fold one corner of a blanket. Set a cup by the bed. Place a pebble on the table. These gestures are tiny and practical. They let the hands do the thanking. Now I guide a brief breathing pattern. Inhale for 4 counts. Feel the chosen gift come nearer. Hold 1 count and let feeling settle. Exhale for 6 counts and let the thanks sink into the chest. Repeat twice. The breath keeps the prayer steady. It is not a magic formula. It is a scaffold that helps the heart stay present. After naming gifts, I invite a soft confession, not as guilt to punish, as a release to lighten the load. Choose 1 small regret. Say it inwardly in 1 line. I do the same. I do not gather a list. I do not wallow. 1 honest admission is enough for this night. Imagine placing that regret into a bowl. The bowl holds it safely. Then offer the regret to mercy. Speak a short sentence from the heart. For example, I give this to mercy. I seek gentleness for this fault. Let the words be brief. Let them be true. The act of handing over is itself restful. The mind often needs permission to stop carrying everything alone. Next, I lead a few moments of intercession. Think of 1 person who needs help tonight. Picture them near a small lamp. Pray silently for them. Ask for a practical kindness to come their way. If 2 come to mind, choose 1 for now. Keep the request narrow. A specific prayer is easier to hold than a general one. After that, widen the circle and think of a place home, a hospital, a lonely room. Send a brief wish of peace there. Imagine setting a light in that place. Think of it as a small beacon. The beacon does not solve everything. It simply indicates that care is present and watching. I pause and remind you that prayer is not performance. It is a practice of handing over and of accepting. Some nights the mind is still. Some nights it races. Both are met with the same simple steps. Name 1 good thing. Name 1 regret. Name 1 need. These 3 small moves shape a whole evening. Now I offer a short spoken pattern that you may follow inwardly. I say these words slowly and you may hold them in your mind. First, thanks for the day. Second, forgive what I cannot fix. Third, provide the help I will need tomorrow. You do not have to say them aloud. Say them quietly inside. Let them be plain. If a silent word helps, use this one, thank you. Repeat it on the exhale. Let each repetition be a small bell that rings the closing of the day. No need for many words. The repetition is a tender habit that trains the heart to notice grace. I keep the image gentle. Imagine a small table at the edge of a room. On it rests a lamp and a bowl. Into the bowl we place tonight's single regret and 1 pebble of gratitude. The lamp's light is steady. The bowl receives. Nothing else is required. This setting is practical and holy. It says here is a place to set the day down. If it is comfortable, place a hand over your heart. Now, feel the slow beat beneath the palm. Each beat is a rhythm of keeping. Each rhythm is a reason to be thankful. Let the hand be a gentle witness to the prayer you offer. For those who prefer another small ritual, try writing 1 sentence. Keep it to 1 line. Write, tonight I am grateful for, and name 1 thing. Or tonight, I give this worry to mercy, and name 1 worry. Fold the paper and place it somewhere safe. The movement helps the mind believe the handing over is real. I speak a quiet word about Christ's presence, not as argument, as assurance. The help we ask for tonight is not distant. It is near, in small ways. Think of Christ as the hand that receives the pebble and the regret. Imagine that hand steady and patient. It does not tally a score. It simply takes what is given and keeps watch. Let that image settle softly. Now we end with a short silence. No pressure to fill it with more thought. Let the quiet be a place for gratitude to grow. Sit with the images a moment longer. Breathe slowly. Let any strong feelings pass like clouds. If sleep is slow, return to the first step. Name another small gift. Name another single regret if needed. Pray again for one person. Repeat the breath pattern. The repetition is not failure. It is the training of trust. I close this short prayer with a deliberate act. I breathe in and place the day's pebble of thanks into my imagined bowl. I breathe out and lay the regret beside it. I picture the lamp's light steady over both. I do this quietly. I do not demand that the mind be changed at once. I only set the posture tonight. I receive and I hand over. Before this part ends, make one practical choice for sleep. Turn down a light. Fold a corner of the blanket. Place a glass where you can reach it. These small actions are not petty. They are the bedside tendings that let the body surrender. I promise to read more in the next part. The voice remains soft. The passages will be short and simple. They will not launch debate. They will offer mercy and gentle hope. For now, accept this evening prayer as a small shelter. One last breath with me. Inhale slowly. Hold a beat. Exhale fully. Feel the chest move. Know that thanks has been offered. Know that one regret has been handed over. Know that a wish for another's peace has been sent. Rest in that simple pattern. Sleep now in the quiet of gratitude. Let mercy meet the regret. Let hope touch the small blessings. I will stay here in this slow voice until you drift deeper. Amen. I lift the lamp just a little and let the shadow soften. The voice stays low. I am the one who reads the Bible before sleep. Tonight I hold a small, quiet idea. Strength lives inside weakness. I say it in the plain way the old letters say it. They do not shout. They turn toward a tender truth. Weakness is not a flaw to hide. It is a small opening where help can enter. Picture an old clay pot with a crack. The crack lets sunlight through. Into that light, tiny moss can grow. The pot is not ruined. It becomes a place where new life begins. That image is small and useful. It keeps the mind near something true without loud explanation. I begin with a simple invitation. Rest the hands where they feel natural. Feel the breath under the ribs. Notice how the chest rises and falls without asking permission. That steady movement is itself a quiet proof. In that rhythm, name one small place of weakness. Keep it to one thing. A tired habit, a fear that wakes at midnight, a loneliness heaped like a small stone. Name it gently in the mind. Do not enlarge it. A single, honest name is enough for this hour. When the name is present, breathe with a gentle pattern. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 1. Exhale for 6. On the inhale, sense the small vulnerability as a hollow place. On the exhale, imagine a warm, steady light entering that hollow. The light does not blame. It simply fills. Repeat the cycle 3 times. Each slow breath is a small rite. It says this place is seen. Help is near. There is a particular kind of power that meets need in soft ways. It does not compete with weakness. It enters it and works there. Picture a reed in a marsh. The wind bends it low. The reed does not break because it can give. Giving is sometimes what keeps the living thing whole. The power I speak of is like that wind and like that marsh. It moves without breaking what is fragile. It makes room for repair. I speak of this from my own moments. I do not wear perfect armor. Often hands tremble. Thoughts come sharp, in quiet hours. Honest admission is the first small step. I tell the truth about my own fragility, so the permission to be fragile becomes less lonely. Saying that aloud in a quiet voice makes the darkness feel less like an accusation and more like a night where the stars can be noticed. A brief practice can help this feeling settle. Place a small bowl where the hands can reach it. Find a tiny pebble. It may be warm from the bedside lamp. Hold the pebble and think of the weakness you named. Feel its weight in the palm. Offer it silently into the bowl. Do not rush. Set it down. The act is a gesture. The hands do a simple work that the mind can recognize as letting go. In those moments, mercy often looks like ordinary tending. Someone might bring a cup of water. A note might appear the next morning. Small acts do the large work. The power that meets weakness does not always arrive as a thunder. It comes as steady hands that mend a collar, as someone who listens without a plan to fix everything. These are the ways strength and vulnerability meet in daily life. There is a humble truth tucked into the old letter, I mind. When a person is weak, the power that holds them can be more clearly shown. That does not mean weakness is desirable. It means that weakness opens a window. Through that window, a different kind of life can be seen and received. The language I use here is plain. It invites rest rather than a list of demands. If fear whispers that naming weakness will make one less worthy, try a counter practice. Picture a gardener tending a broken branch. The gardener does not scorn the branch. They bind it carefully. They set a splint and come back again the next day. Repair is slow. It is patient. It treats the broken part as precious enough to care for. Let that image be a remark to the quick voice of shame. Another image helps the body know the mind's new shape. Imagine a cloak patched in plain stitches. The patches do not hide the history. They show it. The cloak is warmer because someone mended it. Wear that patched cloak inwardly tonight. The patches are evidence, not of failure, but of being kept. They show a story that continues to be loved. I offer one more small exercise. With eyes closed, place the hand on the heart and place the other on the belly. Feel 2 beats at once, the small drum of worry and the slow drum of steadiness beneath it. Name one anxious thought and then, without arguing with it, place it into the image of God's hands. I do not require theological precision here. I ask only for the simple act of handing over. The hands that receive do not tally. They steady. Grace often comes when the posture is honest and small. Many evenings, confession is not a dramatic speech in the dark. It is a 3-word sentence that says, I am tired, or I cannot tonight, or I need help. Allow such short truths to stand. They are not admissions of final failure. They are openings through which care can move. There is also a practical kindness to accepting limits. Write one small note to yourself for the morning. It may be 1-line rest for 30 minutes. Call a friend. Prepare one meal. Keep it small enough to be possible. The brain finds comfort in a manageable plan. Placing one small task where daylight will find it makes the night more peaceful. The mind no longer has to hold every next step at once. If memory brings bright shame, place a soft image beside it. Imagine a low lamp set near the bed. The lamp does not chase away every midnight thought. It only softens the shapes. Place your named weakness into that light and watch it change. The edges become gentler. The mind can breathe around the memory without panicking. For those who fear being seen in weakness, remember the tale of the shepherd who goes into the dark. The reaching hand does not mark the one found as less. The act of seeking is its own proof of worth. Being carried home is not a humiliation. It is a humble rescue. Picture being carried as a kind of blessing. Let that picture lean into the chest for a few breaths. If rest will not come quickly, use a short repeating phrase on the out-breath. It may be steady enough, or held, or receive. Keep the phrase soft. Do not force feeling into it. Let the words be a scaffold for the body to land on. The repetition trains the muscles. To let go, it is practice more than persuasion. There are nights when the very act of admitting need feels risky. In those evenings, take only one micro-step. Send a short message to a trusted person tomorrow. Offer no heavy explanation. A single line like, "Would you be willing to listen for a moment?" is enough. Small requests teach the hands that asking is allowed. They also teach the heart to accept help when it comes. The Bible I read before sleep tells a quiet story of power that meets weakness not by triumph but by presence. It is a power that rests lightly where the heart aches and works without spectacle. It is not loud. It is steady. Picture it as warm water poured into a cracked vessel. The water fills the gaps. The vessel becomes useful in a new way. The usefulness is not a prize. It is simply the nature of care. As this part ends, return to breath. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold 1. Exhale for 6. On the inhale, feel the hollow place of the named weakness become clearer. On the exhale, imagine a gentle filling. Do this 3 times. Then rest the hands open and empty. Let the eyes close, if that feels right. I will continue in the next part. The readings ahead remain slow and simple. They do not press for answers. They offer company and small practices. For now, sleep into the knowledge that weakness is not the end of the story. It is a room in which strength can enter, not to shame, but to mend. The lamp stays low. The hands that receive are steady. Rest in that quiet keeping. I lower the lamp a fraction and let the room rest in that smaller light. I am the one who reads the Bible before you fall asleep. My voice, stay soft. Tonight I sit with one small promise piece that goes beyond what words can hold. I say it in a way that fits the quiet hour. I invite the heart to listen. Peace here is not a tidy answer to every question. It is not a neat fix for every plan. It is a steady presence that stands like a guard at the edge of the chest. It does not make the night without sound. It simply keeps the worst of the noise from coming in. I like to think of it as a gentle watch that surrounds the heart and the mind. Picture a small gate on a path. The gate is low and simple. It swings easily. When the gate is closed, a draught does not hurry into the room. It does not hold the cold forever. It only steadies the air near the sleeping body. The peace I name works in that way. It does not remove every shadow. It keeps a circle of calm around the place where you breathe. I breathe with you now. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold 1. Breathe out for 6. Let the rhythm be slow and kind. With each exhale, imagine a thin veil being placed gently around the chest. The veil is not heavy. It is a soft covering that keeps small anxieties from spilling in. Repeat this cycle 3 times. Let the body learn the cadence. The old line I carry speaks of a peace that guards both heart and mind. Heart and mind are not the same thing. The heart keeps longing and ache. The mind runs through pictures and plans. The peace I read about stands between the two and the restless world. It watches. It steadies. It muffles the small alarms that rise in the dark. When an anxious thought returns, do not fight it harshly. Name it once. Give it one quiet label. A single word will do worry. Tomorrow, alone. Decision. Place that word on an imagined shelf beside your bed. Do not build a list. Let the single word rest there. Trust that the guarding peace watches the shelf while you breathe. The act of naming without rehearsal is an offering. It is enough for the night. Imagine a bowl of warm water on the bedside table. The bowl is there to receive small things. Drop one named worry into the water. Watch the surface settle. The worry does not vanish like steam. It becomes a small ripple that calms and then fades. The peace that stands guard does not erase memory. It arranges the mind in a safer order, so sleep can do its work. Peace often feels strange at first. The mind wants to measure and to solve. It wants to make a plan in the hush. This urge can wake and plead. I do not try to silence it with words. I place a hand over the chest and feel the breathing for a moment. The hand is a simple witness. It tells the mind that the body is safe enough to rest. The practice is small and practical. There is a tenderness to this guarding peace. It leans close to the places that are raw. It knows the names of small hurts. It does not judge the shape of your fear. It holds it like a small child held in a wide, steady arm. That image is not a performance. It is a quiet reality you can carry into sleep. If rest still feels distant, try a brief image. Picture a lamp inside a narrow room. The lamp is steady. It does not need to flood the house. It simply keeps a circle of light where feet can move without stumbling. Imagine yourself stepping into that circle. Your thoughts can move there. 2. Under the lamp's calm. They are seen but not allowed to run. The peace I speak of guards both feeling and thought. When the heart swells with worry, the mind can return to a single steady line. Repeat inwardly, peace holds me. Say it quietly on the out-breath. Do not make a speech. Let the phrase be a small bell. The repetition will steady muscles and slow the pulse. It is a soft practice, not a heavy duty. There may be nights when the mind objects. It will ask for proof. It will demand a reason to trust. Offer no long answer. Give a simple act instead. Place a card on the bedside table. Write one thin line tonight. Peace guards my heart and mind. Let the card sit where the eyes can find it. It will be a small anchor for the morning thoughts and for the midnight turns. Peace also works through simple gestures of care. Doek a blanket a bit closer. Straighten a pillow. Make a small cup of warm tea if that comforts. These acts do not solve the deeper questions. They do something practical. They tell the muscles that the body is allowed to relax. Peace often comes because the hands teach the body to stop holding tight. There is a quiet companion in the pages I read. The letters speak of a peace that is not earned. It is given. It comes not because of better effort, but because someone keeps watch. That keeping is not loud. It is patient. It moves in slow kindness. Tonight, imagine that kindness as a steady touch at the edge of sleep. It is small and real. If old images replay in the dark, do a short shifting practice. Imagine placing each image on a leaf and setting the leaf on a slow stream. Watch the leaf carry the image away until it grows small on the horizon. Do this for 3 images max. The repetition is careful. It trains the hands and the eyes to let go in small increments. Sometimes guarding needs a border. If a thought returns again and again, give it a time slot. Picture a small clock with a single short hour for worry during the day. Tell the mind that tonight is not its time. You do not refuse the thought forever. You set a boundary that keeps the night for rest. The idea is practical and kind. I invite a short prayer. Plain and quiet. Speak it only in the heart. Ask for the peace that keeps close. Use no elaborate words. A single line will do. Place that line into the hand of the quiet presence that watches. Feel the little relief that follows. Prayer here is an act of handing over, not of convincing. The guarding peace also steadies hope. It does not promise the immediate removal of every trial. It promises a shelter for the night. In that shelter, repère Buguin, courage is mended in small fragments. Decisions find better clarity in morning light. Sleep is not escape. It is a tool of restoration, held under the guard of peace. Before this part ends, practice one more breath. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 1. Exhale for 8. On the inhale, imagine a pale circle forming near the chest. On the exhale, watch the circle widen enough to cover the shoulders and the mind. Repeat this twice. Feel the body respond. Let the heart find a steadier beat. If waking anxiety returns at night, use the card on the bedside. Read the single line. Then breathe the phrase, "Peace holds me." Let it be a bridge back into the guarded circle. Keep the movement small. Trust repetition more than drama. Small acts build a habit that helps the mind accept rest. I promise to stay quiet and steady in the next parts. The readings ahead will be gentle and brief. They will not press for answers. They will offer company and small practices for the long night. For now, rest in the peace that watches. Let it stand like a gentle guard around the chest and the mind. Place your hand where it rests best. Feel the slow beat beneath your palm. Imagine that beat matched by a steady watch. Lay one small worry into that watching hand. Release it without argument. Let sleep take the next work of repair. I will read again in the next part. For now, breathe slowly. Let the guarded circle hold you. Sleep in that quiet keeping. The lamp remains low. The guard is patient. Rest now in the peace that surpasses understanding. I lower my voice and let the room listen. I am the one who reads the Bible before you fall asleep. Tonight I bring a single scene to the edge of our thoughts. It is an image about stains and washing. It is an image that speaks of a fresh start. Isaiah gives a picture I hold like a small cloth. The picture says that even the deepest stains can be made clean. The words do not argue. They simply offer a promise. I read them slowly, in my own way. I say what seems scarlet can be made white again. The language is plain. It is a comfort that moves like warm water. Guilt lives like a mark on a shirt. It is visible to the touch of memory. It bothers because it changes how a person sees themselves. The mind replays a mistake as if it were ink that will not budge. In the quiet hour, the replay grows loud. It sharpens the face at the bedside. It makes the chest tighten. The promise I read steps into that tension with a practical image cleaning. Rinsing. Laying out to dry under a sun that does not scold. I invite a small practice. Choose one single guilt. Do not gather a list. One will do. Make it the one that presses most close at this moment. Name it softly in the mind. Keep the phrase brief, a word, or a single small sentence. Hold it like a pebble. The pebble is real, but it is not the whole shore. Imagine a basin of warm water. The water is not imagined as a judgmental force. It is careful. It welcomes the small stain and takes it in. In the mind place, the named guilt upon the surface. Watch the water receive it. The surface does not heap condemnation. It only takes. This is an act of letting. Letting is gentle. It does not force the past to change. It simply changes who carries the weight. Breathe with the picture. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Let the breath move into the belly. Hold 1 count. Exhale for 6 counts. And imagine submerging the pebble of guilt in the warm water. See the color lift in soft motions. Repeat twice. Each cycle is small. Each time the stain seems a fraction paler. Do not demand miraculous, immediate whiteness. The image is not a magic trick. It is the start of a process. Washing often needs time. It needs gentle rubbing and patient rinsing. In the same way, mercy works slowly in the heart. The first act is simple. We place the stain where it can be met. Now picture soap in a kindly hand. The soap is not harsh. It is steady and plain. With careful motions, the hand does what hands have always done to mend what is soiled. Soap loosens the dye. It does not blame the cloth. It sets to work. Imagine this motion as a soft kindness applied to the worn place inside. The motion itself is a small theology, mercy act. If the mind protests that this feels too easy, note the feeling without argument. Anxiety often waits to test mercy. Let the protest be named once, then return to the basin. The repetition matters more than the drama. Work and tenderness together begin to change what the eyes cannot mend. Next, imagine rinsing. The water runs clear. The soap goes with it. The once dark mark grows faint at the edges. Imagine the basin overflowing into a slow stream. The stream does not carry away identity. It carries away the stain's power to define the whole. You remain the same person. The stain becomes only one small history on a larger life. There is a ledger that the mind sometimes opens and counts by. Guilt lives in that ledger like numbers that add up to more than the whole. Tonight, let the ledger close. Imagine lifting the page and wiping it clean. Use a soft cloth. The wiping is deliberate. The pages do not vanish, but their tally no longer weighs the heart as it did. The act is not erasure of memory. It is the removal of the tally that condemns. The memory can still teach. Mercy frees it from tyranny. If apology is possible and safe, consider a small morning action. A short word, a note, a quiet correction. One tiny act of repair does not fix everything. It begins the practical work of mending. If such action is not possible, place the intention in the stream and let it go for a night. Doing a small, realistic thing tomorrow gives the mind permission to rest tonight. The metaphor of whiteness is not meant to suggest a wiping clean that denies consequence. It is the image of new cloth, of linen that is fit to be laid on a table again. Think of setting a white sheet across a bed that was used and creased. The sheet is clean. It will wrinkle again. The life it covers will not be flawless, but the white sheet shows that repair has come. Sleep in that small allowance for renewal. A brief physical act can make the inner washing more real. Reach for a glass of water on the bedside table. Take a small sip. Feel the coolness at the tongue. Let the hands know a sensation that resembles the basin. The body appreciates small proofs. These actions teach the muscles that mercy is not just a thought. It belongs in the hands. If shame presses and asks for fairness, listen calmly to that question. Justice has its place where harm occurred. Careful, practical steps help. But tonight is not the hour for long accounts. The night is for the first small work of relief. Allow the mind one candid line. I will begin a small repair in the morning. Write that line on a scrap of paper if it helps. Folding the paper and placing it where morning eyes will find it keeps the night lighter. There is wisdom in limiting the workload for one dark hour. Guilt multiplies when it is given too many tasks. Choose one small work for tomorrow. One manageable step reduces the mind's habit of keeping vigil over countless items. The simple plan grants permission for the body to rest. The rest is part of the healing. Now imagine linen hung on a line in a soft breeze. The fabric begins to dry. brightness returns. The color is not the same as before soiling. Perhaps the story of the stain remains as a seam, a small mark of life lived. The linen that dries in the breeze is not ashamed to show a stitch. It bears the repair where it can be honest and useful. So it can be for us. The whiteness is not a lie. It is a tender restoration. I read the ancient line again quietly. I do not use it as a weapon. I use it as a promise. If language feels spare, hold the image and breathe slowly. Let the rhythm of the breath match the motion of washing and hanging. The rhythm trains the body to accept the possibility of being made clean. As sleep draws near, imagine a simple curtain closing between the night and the ledger. This curtain does not hide truth. It is a soft partition that lets repair and rest work without constant reopening of the wound. Place the named guilt behind that curtain for a night. Tell no story in the dark, other than the one simple act you have already performed. You place the weight where mercy can meet it. There is a comfort in returning to one steady fact. Mercy reaches. The image of washing and whitening is an invitation to trust an action beyond the self. It asks only for a willing hand to bring what is stained and set it into care. Tonight that willingness can be yours in a small way. Before this part closes, breathe with me once more. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold 1. Exhale for 6. On each out-breath, imagine the water running clear. On the last exhale, see the linen hung to dry in a soft light. Feel the shoulders lower a bit. Let the weight lessen. Do this 3 times. Lay one final small ritual on the heart. Fold a paper with a single word, one name for the guilt. Place it beneath the pillow, or by the bedside under the glass. The act is a gentle witness. The mind has named. The hand has acted. The night will be given space. The paper is not a hiding place. It is a token of intention. I will read again in the next part. The voice will stay slow. The images will remain practical and close to the ground. For now, let the picture of washing and linen hold you. Allow the night to do what it does best. Let sleep work on the softened places. Mercy meets the stain. Peace eases the chest. Rest in that quiet beginning of a clean slate. I dim the lamp to its quietest glow. The room leans toward sleep. I am the one who reads the Bible before you rest. Tonight I hold an open invitation. It is an invitation that asks for nothing dramatic. It only asks for honesty. The page I carry calls people who are worn. It names weariness plainly. It does not demand proof or a list of failures. The invitation is simple. Come with your heavy load. Come because the day has been longer than hoped. Come because hands are tired from holding too much. Come because the heart grows small under the weight of decisions and regrets. Imagine a wide bench beneath a tree. The bench is not formal. It is weathered and steady. When someone sits, another hand arrives at the shoulder. The hand is patient. It does not pry into pockets or demand an accounting of spent days. The hand only helps take the load. Picture yourself moving a small pack from your lap onto that bench. Feel the shoulders ease when the weight moves. This is the shape of the invitation. Speak one small truth inwardly. Name the most immediate strain. Keep it to 1 or 2 words. Say it softly in the mind. The naming is not a claim of perfection. It is an act that opens the hands. The night needs such an opening. Breathe with the image. Inhale for 4 slow counts. Let the breath fill the chest like a soft tide. Hold for 1 calm beat. Exhale for 6 counts. And imagine lowering the named weight onto the bench. Repeat 3 times. The mechanics matter more than the rhetoric. The body remembers what the hands do. Each slow cycle makes the shoulders lighter. The invitation promises rest that goes deeper than muscle. It promises rest for the soul. That means a quieting that touches long-held anxieties and the rush of future plans. Do not be surprised if relief does not arrive like a sudden flood. Often it comes like morning mist, thin at first, then steady. Allow the slow work to begin tonight. If it helps, prepare a small symbol for the hand that receives. Take a scrap of paper. Write 1 word, the worry or the decision. Fold it twice. Place it on the bedside table or slide it beneath a glass. The movement is a sign. It makes the act of handing over a thing the fingers can do. The mind takes such proofs seriously. There is also a gentle correction to consider. Coming to this resting place does not mean leaving wisdom behind. A wise hand still guides the next step. The rest promised here steadies judgment. It does not remove the need for practical care. Imagine placing 1 small plan for tomorrow beside the folded paper. 1 manageable step frees the mind from rehearsing everything until dawn. The combination of handing over and planning is a practical balance. A short inward prayer can be offered without words. Fold the hands in the chest in thought. Think, I bring this to you because I cannot carry it alone. No argument. No pleading. Just the simple admission that help is needed. The acceptance of help is a small act of courage. It is also an act of trust. The imagery I use tonight stays close to the senses. Feel the fabric of the bench under your fingers. Hear a breeze that does not push but only cools. Smell faint earth and leaf. These details keep the mind from spinning into distant fears. The senses draw attention to what is present, and presence itself is a kind of rest. There is a companion image, a pair of hands holding a light. The hands do not snatch the lamp away. They simply offer it. Take the lamp in the imagination and notice how it illuminates only a step or 2. This small light is enough for the next action. Hope is not shown here as a distant blaze. It is a usable lamp. Use it. 1 step becomes visible, and another. Sometimes the body resists the invitation. Tiredness can feel like a protest. The mind may fear that rest equals giving up. Reframe that thought gently. Rest is not surrender to laziness. It is a chosen pause to receive repair. It is a tool, like sleep, that restores strength and sharpens care. Holding fast to that idea makes the giving over less frightening. If loneliness presses, imagine sitting near another who is silent and steady. No explanation needed. Their presence is enough. Presence often heals faster than words. Let that imagined companionship be enough tonight. If the thought of someone real brings comfort, picture a gentle face. Not to fix everything, but to share the silence beside you. I lead a very small practice now. Close the eyes if it is comfortable. Bring one hand to the heart and one to the belly. Feel 2 slow beats. On the next inhale, think of the heaviest single thing. On the exhale, imagine placing that thing into an open, steady palm. Visualize the palm close and carry the weight. Repeat twice. Let the heart notice how the gesture loosens the chest. There will be nights when the mind returns the same worry, again and again. Do not treat return as failure. Each return is another chance to hand it over again. The practice is patient. It does not count how many times the mind needs to try. It simply offers the same invitation whenever needed. End this part with a short promise to the self. Say inwardly tonight, I will try handing over one thing. Name that one thing. Commit it to the quiet. Then let the mind rest on the image of the bench, the open hand, and the small lamp. The posture of trust begins with a single small act. Now the room becomes even quieter. The next section will be the closing of the night. I will read one final short passage and lead a short ritual to mark bedtime. The voice will be slow and clear. The words will not demand. They will offer company. Bedtime begins with a simple movement. Close the book if it feels right. Tuck the phone away. Smooth the blanket so it sits without ridges. These small gestures are the housekeeping of rest. They tell the body the house is safe and the night is permitted. Sit for a single moment and look at the low lamp. Let the eyes rest on that one point. If darkness is preferred, simply feel the light at the seam of the eyelids. The room asks nothing more of you than to be present to this small glow. I guide a final breath pattern for the closing. Inhale for 4 counts. Gentle and steady. Hold for 2 counts. Enough to let calm settle. Exhale for 8 counts. Long and soft. Repeat this 3 times. On each out-breath, imagine a thin string loosening at the back of the neck. Watch the shoulders drop with each release. Let the muscles learn to let go. Now practice a concise bedtime ritual. Place one hand over the heart. Name one gracious thing from the day. However small, speak it inwardly, perhaps warmth, a kind word, a small rest, a cup of tea, the sound of rain. Hold that small, thankful thought for a breath. Then place the named worry beside it, as if both were small stones. Notice that the stones share the same table. Let the table hold them. I offer a brief closing blessing. It is not a magic word. It is a calm wish, made in a low tone. Think of the wish as a gentle field that surrounds the sleep you are about to enter. Let it be simple. May the night keep you steady. May the hidden work of rest begin. May small mercy meet every soft place. If it helps, say a single short phrase inwardly on the exhale. As the last ritual I rest, let the phrase be quiet and plain. Repeat it silently once or twice. No need for more. The repetition is a small anchor before the voice falls entirely quiet. Make one practical arrangement for morning. Write one small, manageable task for the first hour, a cup of water, a note to a friend, a brief walk. Place the note where morning light finds it. This small plan gives the mind permission to let go tonight. If sleep comes slowly, return to the lamp image and the breath pattern. The ritual is gentle. It can be repeated without shame. The voice here will remain near until the body yields. I will stay with this steady pace and return if the night needs it. Now rest. Lay down the day's single named weight. Keep the lamp in sight for a few slow breaths. Feel the chest soften. Allow the hands to be open and empty. The week will continue tomorrow. For now, accept the offer of rest. I will close the book softly. The last sound is a quiet movement. The room holds. Sleep in calm. I will be here in this slow voice, should you need another passage. For tonight, sleep in the care that watches and keeps. I lower the lamp a little more. The room listens. I am the one who reads the Bible before you sleep. Tonight, I fold the story inward and trace a quiet line about faithfulness. I keep the voice slow. I keep the sentences short. Each one is a small step. I hold the picture of the father from the prodigal son tale. I do not replay the conversation. I revisit the pattern. The parent waits. The parent knows names. The parent watches seasons. The waiting is not impatience. It is steady attention. It looks like a patient tending that stretches through many small days. Faithfulness is not a single bright act. It is a long series of small acts. Water, poured day after day, makes a sun-scorched field blossom. A lamp that stays lit night after night guides feet home. The father in the story does both kinds of tending. He keeps the door ready. He keeps memory alive for the child who wanders. He prepares the feast before questions have finished. His kindness is practice as much as feeling. Think of faithfulness as a road. It need not be straight. It can curve. It may cross rough ground. Still, that road is kept. Stones are cleared. Signs are set to point the way. The parent tends the path even when no foot is in sight. This tending is the quiet of the tale. It is the reason the way home exists when the lost one turns back. I invite you to remember one small faithfulness you have known. It can be tiny. A neighbor who brought a dish. A friend who checked in once. A morning when the heart felt steadier after a night's sleep. Hold that memory like a pebble. Turn it over with gentle fingers. Feel its edges. Let it remind you that constancy shows up in small places, not only in grand scenes. There is a particular calm in knowing faithfulness has a memory. The parent in the story does not forget the child's name. That remembering is an act. It keeps the story alive. It preserves the invitation to return. For the listener, recall one time when care returned even after you expected. It would not let that memory be proof that not all things fade with distance. When faithfulness is slow, trust can be nervous. The mind wants faster proof. The heart wants immediate signs. In the gentle hours, however, practice patience as a small ritual. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold 1. Breathe out for 6. On the inhale, call to mind a steady hand that returned to you in some hour. On the exhale, let gratitude settle in the chest. Repeat this 3 times. The breath trains a muscle of trust. Faithfulness often looks practical. A lamp kept burning, a path swept, a kettle kept warm. In the tale, the father plans for the household. He arranges clothes, food, and place. The work is ordinary and precise. It does not depend on drama. It depends on preparation. When the lost one comes, the house has what is needed. The quiet care of preparation is a kind of promise. It says, I will be ready when you come. If your heart doubts promise, try a small exercise. Write down one way you have been prepared for when you return from difficulty. A small note on a scrap of paper is enough. Someone listened. Food was there. A word of welcome came. Fold the note and place it where you will see it in the morning. The act is a soft witness. It reminds the mind that preparation is real and that mercy has a habit of showing up. The tale also shows a faithfulness that does not nag. The parent does not punish immediate return with a long reprimand. The first act is reception. Repair follows, not as a blunt demand, but as a sequence of helpful steps. This ordering matters. It gives time for the tense muscles to loosen. It lets conversation start from warmth rather than from shame. Imagine a hand smoothing a blanket over a weary shoulder before any question is asked. The order of care matters. Faithfulness cares for reputation and for risk. In the story, the parent steps into a vulnerable position to welcome the child. This courage costs nothing less than steadiness. For anyone who keeps watch for those who wander, the courage to believe in return often feels risky. Still, steady love chooses to risk. It values the life more than the comfort of certainty. That choice is a quiet bravery I find restful to consider. I also think of faithfulness in seasons. A tree survives winter because roots remain steady above the ground. Branches may look bare. Below, life goes on. The parent keeps roots strong in hidden ways, prayers, reminders, small rituals of care. These unseen actions matter. They nourish the capacity to welcome again. If you feel winter in the soul, know that hidden work is happening even when nothing appears green. When worry presses, use a small ritual to steady the mind. Take a sheet of paper. On one side, list one small memory of being cared for. On the other side, write one small intention to pass care forward tomorrow. Fold the paper into a tiny square. Keep it by the bedside. The practice makes visible the arc between receiving and giving. It ties the night's rest to a morning act of mercy. Faithfulness teaches a patient kind of hope. It does not pretend all mistakes vanish. It acknowledges the cost of wandering, yet it holds open return as possible and welcome. That steady hope is practical. It changes how we live with our faults. It offers a posture not hiding, not boasting, but turning where welcome waits. Imagine moving very slowly toward a lit doorway. Each measured step softens the chest. Hope is the light that steadies those steps. Sometimes faithfulness must be given a test. The parent in the story sees more than a single action. There is a pattern of return. Forgiveness becomes wisdom when it pairs with healthy caution. Love does not mean ignoring harm. It means tending what is broken while attending to safety. If you must set boundaries, do it with a patient heart. Boundaries can be an expression of a steadier care that protects both the giver and the one returning. For those who have kept watch for others, I wish to offer quiet praise. The steady tending is often unseen. It does not seek applause, yet it holds great power. The years of small kindness add up. A warm pot of food, a message remembered, a patient silence. These actions sow a seam that mends the most worn places. Take a breath and feel the small pride that belongs to patient keepers. It is a humble pride. It is right. If sleep comes with lingering doubt, return to one small practice. Close the eyes. Bring to mind a brief scene of being welcomed. Let sensory detail guide you: the smell of food, the sound of a footfall, the feel of a blanket. Stay with that scene for 3 slow breaths. The body learns through the senses. The memory becomes a quiet signal that welcome can be real. I keep returning to the image of steady hands at the edge of a road. Those hands have the shape of faithfulness. They prepare. They wait. They act when the wanderer comes, and they do so again and again. Faithfulness is not flashy. It is not loud. It is consistent. It continues, even when it costs time. Comfort or certainty. As this part closes, make one small choice for the night. Name one form of faithfulness you will trust tomorrow. It can be small, accept help for a task. Send a short message. Prepare one meal to share. Keep it manageable. The night is for rest. Tiny plans lighten the mind enough to sleep. Trust grows when it is practiced in small steps. I will return with the next portion. I will read slowly. The remaining passages will continue the same care. They will not debate. They will offer mercy, hope, and steady company. For now, let the quiet picture of faithful love hold you. Let the memory of a waiting hand soothe the chest. Breathe slowly. Rest into the faithfulness that watches and prepares. The road home is kept. The lamp remains lit. Sleep in that steady watch. I sit with the Bible open and let the quiet press around the room. I am the one who reads before you sleep. My voice stays low. Tonight I bring a small truth to the edge of our thoughts. Mercy comes fresh each morning. I do not argue. I simply point to a simple promise that has soothed many nights. The page I read says mercy is not used up. It is not a store that dwindles. Every dawn brings a kind provision. The language is old and plain. It carries the comfort of a new day's kindness, arriving even after the darkest night. Hear that as a soft fact, not a theory to be proven. Let it be a small lamp in the chest. Think of morning like a series of small gifts. The sun peaks. The air cools. The first cup of warmth is made. These are not miracles, suddenly replacing all trouble. They are simple renewals. Each morning lays down a new sheet of mercy. It is enough for what the day will ask. Picture the mercy as a fresh cloth folded on a chair. You may not need to mend every torn place tonight, because there will be a fresh cloth in the morning. I read that promise, not as a lecture, but as accompaniment. My words move slowly. They sit beside your thoughts and do not push. Breathing is the first place the mercy touches. Breathe with me now. Inhale gently. Hold one soft beat. Exhale long and even. Let each breath be an invitation to trust that tomorrow will bring its own mercy. Repeat this breath twice more. The body listens in a way the mind cannot always imitate. Mercy, every morning changes the work of tonight. It tells the heart this: do not try to finish every repair before sleep. Settle one small stone. Lay it down. Leave the rest for the morning's new kindness. The night is not failed work. It is the time mercy begins its slow, cute mending. Picture yourself placing a small bundle at the foot of a bed. The bed will be warm in the morning. The bundle will be waiting, still whole and cared for. There is tenderness in expecting a new mercy. Expectation here is not anxious. It is a soft readiness. Imagine a window that is never barred, shut. Every morning a breeze slips through that window. It brings a scent, a freshness, the slight rearrangement of the room. You cannot demand the breeze to fix everything, but it changes the shape of the air. So mercy in the morning rearranges a day just enough to make the next steps possible. I often read the promise aloud in a quiet voice. I do not aim for exact words as a test. I aim for the echo the promise makes in a tired heart. Hear that echo now. Morning brings help. That help is not a display. It is practical. It arrives like a hand that steadies, a light that shows one step, a fresh towel offered to a soiled hand. Let the image settle like a calm tide. If the mind keeps tallying mistakes and fears, do a small practice with me. Close the eyes if that is comfortable. Name one small thing you cannot fix tonight. Keep it to one short phrase. Do not overwatch the list. Take that single phrase and place it in an imagined basket at the edge of the bed. Picture the basket large enough to hold it easily. Breathe in. Place it there. Breathe out. Say nothing else. The placing is the act that trusts morning mercy to begin work. Morning mercy also keeps lessons, not only erasure. It does not pretend damage never happened. It offers a steady way to live with a lesson without letting it own the night. Think of a gardener who waters a scarred root. The gardener does not pretend the storm never came. The gardener simply gives what is needed now for new growth water. Light. Careful tending. That is how mercy meets the scarred places. It tends. It teaches. It makes room for new shoots. Gentle preparation eases the mind more than big plans. Before sleep, choose one small, doable thing to do tomorrow that will make repair possible. Write it on a single scrap of paper. Keep the note short, a brief call, a small walk, a simple act of kindness. Set the paper on the bedside table. The paper acts like a signpost. In the morning, the mind will not have to search for where to begin. The note is mercy's helper. It frees the night when sorrow feels large. Imagine the mornings as a series of small lights. Each morning is one lamp placed on a shelf. No single lamp banishes the night. Together they make a row of lights that keep the path visible. You will not be made perfect in one dawn. You will be given what you need for the next small step. Let that steady accumulation be enough. I also speak of hope without pressure. Hope here is not a loud promise of instant change. It is a modest confidence that mercy will come again. Picture a slow river that moves toward the sea. It does not hurry by the hour. It keeps its course. The course itself is the promise. When the mind doubts, return to this river image. Picture the water carrying away a small scrap of worry. Watch it float and grow smaller at the bend. There is a human way. Mercy often arrives a neighbor's small kindness. A quiet message at dawn. A hand on a shoulder the next day. Notice how ordinary exactness often proves the presence of mercy more than dramatic signs. Keep an ear for soft sounds tomorrow, a knock, a voice, a coffee cup set down. These plain things are the practical notes of morning care. If you fear that mercy's arrival is conditional on better performance, let the picture I read tonight answer quietly. The mercy that comes each morning is not given in exchange for perfect acting. It is given in the ordinary rhythm of days. A lamp does not require repayment to shine again. The lamp returns every night. So mercy comes regardless of the ledger your mind invents. There is also a discipline that matches mercy, patience. When mercy arrives slowly, meet it with patient hands. Do not demand a full repair before the next dawn. Allow the small mending to begin. This patience is not passive. It is an active stance. I will do what I can, and I will allow help to continue in the morning. Repeat this promise to yourself if it helps. Say it inwardly in a soft voice. I will begin, and I will accept help. Sleep itself is part of mercy's work. While the body rests, unseen restoration happens. The muscles rebuild. The mind consolidates clarity. Dreams sometimes sort what the waking hours cannot. Trust that the night is not wasted, even if waking hours feel thin with progress. The mercy of morning is ready to continue the work while the body recharges. This thought is practical. Rest fuels better action tomorrow. Now a short breathing practice to anchor that trust. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 1. Breathe out for 7. On the inhale, imagine a new light being placed on the shelf. On the exhale, picture a small worry shifting onto a carrying current. Repeat 3 times. Let the rhythm teach the body that mercy has a schedule beyond urgent panic. As I read these thoughts, I keep the language simple. I am the one who reads before you sleep. My words are slow because slow helps the mind settle. The promise of mercy in the morning is not meant to start a debate. It is meant to be a companion to the weary. It lets the chest relax enough for sleep, to arrive with more steadiness. Before this part ends, place 1 small token for the morning near the lamp. It can be a folded note, a pebble, or a list. Make it clear to the mind, tomorrow there is 1 small thing to do. The token is not a burden. It is a bridge. It tells the waking mind where to begin and frees the night from carrying everything alone. I stay with the pace and lower the light a fraction more. Let the quiet accept mercy as a present that renews itself. Let the thought of morning kindness be a soft drumbeat under the next breath. Rest the hands where they feel best. Feel the chest ease. Trust that mercy returns with the dawn. Sleep now into that promise. Soon, I will lead a final prayer to close the evening. For now, hold the image of mornings like fresh cloth, lamps on a shelf, a river carrying away a small worry. Keep one small action for morning in your pocket. Let the night do its work, while mercies ready themselves for the next day. I remain in the stillness, reading softly, until you drift deeper. I sit very still and breathe with you. I am the one who reads the Bible before you rest. My voice is quiet. My hands close the book gently. Tonight, I lead a short prayer. The prayer is plain. It asks for one thing at a time. Breathe slowly with me. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold 1. Exhale for 6. Let the body find its natural softness. The breathing brings the mind near. It helps the words land. Lord, I come in this low hour. I place the room before you. The house is small or wide. The heart is heavy or calm. All of it is here. Come and dwell. Stay as a steady presence. Do not enter as thunder. Hinterlass, a quiet guest. Put your foot in the doorway and do not hurry away. Make this night a dwelling place. Let the walls breathe kindness. Let the ceiling hold no accusation. Let corners that feel cold be warmed by an invisible hand. Let sleeping places take the shape of safety. Let a steady quiet hang like a soft curtain, keeping sharp things at bay. Attend to the breath. Meet each rise and fall as if it were a small offering. Where the chest is tight, send relief. Where thoughts rush like a small stream, set a stone gently into the water so it slows. Where memory presses hard, place a soft cloth between the thought and the heart. I ask for protection that is tender. Keep watch around the edges of sleep. Let no sudden fear break the quiet. If restless spirits pass by, let them find no purchase here. If worry comes like a persistent knock, let it be heard and then guided away into lighter rooms. Keep the night simple, like a single lamp held steady. Come to those who carry sickness. Lay a closeness that does not insist on words. Ease heavy limbs. Soften throbbing places. Let warmth be near the skin. If healing does not come quickly, give patience and a restful night where strength can gather. If pain is sharp, put a merciful hand there. Let pain not be lonely. Be present with those who grieve. Sit with them as someone sits by a bedside. Do not demand laughter. Do not hurry the turning. Hold the shape of loss gently. Let small comforts arrive, a remembered voice. A quiet image of a beloved face. A breath that steadies the next minute. Let sorrow be met, not erased. Watch over the wanderers tonight. Guard those who travel by road or by thought. Keep fragile drivers safe. Guide ones who worry for those far away. Let no anxiety reach into the sleep of those who wait. Be a map that does not disappear in the dark. Send rest to the restless mind when plans spin out and choices press. Place one simple way to begin tomorrow into the chest. Make that step small and doable. Put it on a card, a note, a remembered phrase. Let the mind rest because a first place to start exists. quiet shame and soften guilt. Give the courage to set one small thing down. Show where apology or repair might be done in daylight. If repair is not possible, grant a peaceful shelter tonight for the ache. Teach the heart that making amends can start with a single quiet move. Hold the lonely. Let the silence be a companion rather than a judge. Place a sense of company near the ribs. Let memories of kinder times be gentle proof that the present does not have to be the whole story. If a call can be made tomorrow, make one. If not, let the darkness carry a soft warmth. Bless small mercies. A warm cup held just so, a blanket smoothed, a foot placed inside a slipper. These are not trifles. They are the hands by which comfort arrives. Arrange the small things for those who need them. Let ordinary kindnesses multiply tonight. Keep a watch for children and for those with thin sleep. Send a kind hush to the bedroom and a patient hand to hands that tremble. Keep the fragile breathing regular. Let dreams that visit be harmless. If a child stirs, let ta quiet voice soothe. Let the house hold a soft order that invites sleep to return quickly. Meet those who fear the night with a plain promise you are seen. A presence rests near even the edges of fear. Let that knowing be like a small lamp kept in a window. It does not command the sky. It simply assures that someone waits. Guard the mind against wild imagining. When images spin into the dark, let one steady thread pull them back. Ask for dreams that sort and heal rather than replay wounds. Let the night deliver perspectives that are small and useful in the morning. If a troubling image returns, let it pass like a cloud over a wide field. Pour mercy where it is needed. Do not keep tally. Do not count the falls. Meet every failing as a place to tend. Lay down cloth. Pour warm water. Stitch small seams. The work does not have to be sudden. Slow repair is real repair. Let slow mercy do its steady work tonight. Make the heart brave enough to receive help where asking feels impossible. Give a silent courage. Let a single small request be enough. If hands can send a message tomorrow, may that message be simple. I need a listening ear. Teach us again that asking is not ruin, but grace. Bless the morning that will come. Let it bring a new portion of kindness. Prepare one small mercy for the waking hour. Set a fresh possibility on the table, a chance to say a needed word. To make a brief writing. To drink a warming cup. To step out in a steady small way. Let the dawn be useful, not merely bright. Guard those whose work will begin early. Watch the nurses, the drivers, the silent laborers. Place steadiness in their muscles and clarity in their decisions. Let sleep gather into them like a bandage, and let waking be enough for the tasks ahead. I pray for pockets of peace that open unexpectedly, a song heard in the street in the morning, a brief kind word at the right time, a note that appears on a screen. These small gifts matter. Send them without grand announcement. Let them arrive as quiet proof that the world is not without care. Help us to hand over what we cannot hold. Teach the hands to unclench. Teach the mind to set down one named worry. If you will, take that worry now. Take it as if you hold a fragile glass. Carry it gently. Keep it safe until morning mends what must be mended. Let the act of handing over be its own relief. Let this prayer be a simple shelter, not a demand for sudden change. Allow the room to be a place where softness is permitted, where the body may exhale without accusation, where the shortness of courage is met by a larger steadiness, where the smallness of hope is enough. I close with a quiet trust, not a loud faith, but a calm resting. If sleep is slow, return to breath. Inhale, hold briefly, exhale longer. Let the rhythm remind the body that it is allowed to be renewed. In the morning, we will find mercy fresh and practical. I stay here in a soft voice until the breathing slows. I will be near the page and the folded lamp if a final need rises. Name it inwardly. I will hold it with the words I have said. Amen. Now the room listens. The night is ready to do its work. I will return in the last part with a gentle invitation to share what has helped and to reach out to one another. Rest now. The presence you invited is near. Sleep in that peace. I sit very still and let the lamp be a low witness. I am the one who reads the Bible before you go to sleep. My voice stays soft and steady. Tonight I speak one more gentle invitation. I ask that the quiet you have gathered here travel with you into the small spaces of your life. Carry one short piece. A single sentence will do. Choose a line that soothed you in these hours. Keep it plain. Say it once to a neighbor, or whisper it to a friend over the phone. Tell one person what helped you breathe more easily tonight. The act is not a sermon. It is a gift, passed hand to hand. Share a practice. You do not need to lead a long meeting. Offer a 5-minute reading before bed to someone who struggles with sleep. Bring a warm cup and read slowly, close with a breath together. These small gatherings teach more by presence than by argument. They show mercy in movements that match the heart's pace. Make room for listening. When someone answers your invitation, let the first thing be a patient ear. Ask one simple question: how are you? Wait without rushing to fix. Listening itself is a ministry. It shows that the lamp you carry is large enough for two. Bring kindness into ordinary places. Leave a short note for a weary co-worker. Fold a small card with a verse that helped you. Slide it under a door. Place a cup of tea on a porch. Small acts become the quiet architecture of community. They do not demand gratitude. They simply make living gentler. Create a tiny circle. Invite 2 or 3 people to meet once a week. Keep the time short. Read one brief passage. Share one short reflection. End with a slow breath. Over months, habit builds a quiet trust. Those who gather learn to be steady for one another. They become a small net for times when walking feels hard. Use simple tools. A printed card. A phone call. A shared 5-minute message. These will do. If someone is far away, send a short voice note with one gentle line. Hearing a familiar voice late at night can hold a person close, even across distance. Keep words direct and soft. No need for many of them. Invite children into small acts of mercy. Teach them to leave a small stone beside a doorway for someone who needs a reminder. Ask a child to help fold a blanket and carry it to an elderly neighbor. These tasks are not heavy. They are training in compassion. They teach the young what patience looks like in the hands. Find practical ways to stay connected. Pick one evening each month to check in with a handful of names. A short message will do. Ask if they are sleeping well. Offer one small help. Keep the list small enough to manage. Consistency matters more than volume. If a conversation needs deeper care, help find it. Encourage a friend to speak with a trusted pastor, a counselor, or a community helper. Spiritual support and professional help often walk together. Where pain is deep, guiding someone to steady help is a kind act. Keep an online corner for simple sharing. A short group message can be a place to post one line that settled you tonight. Make rules that protect tenderness, no heavy debate there. Only brief encouragement and offers of practical help. Let the online space be a porch where people pass a lantern to one another. Teach the next small practice the bedside invitation. Read a single verse. Close with a breath. Offer an intention for morning. If someone accepts, follow up with a short message the next day. The habit of nightly connection grows. Trust more surely than a single grand gesture. Take care of boundaries. Do not press people to share before they are ready. Invitation is not pressure. You can offer presence and step back. The safest care is the care that recognizes limits. Respect sleep as a gift. Do not make it a duty. Practice generosity in living ways. Cook an extra portion and give it to someone who will be tired tomorrow. Offer a ride to someone who needs a small errand done. Help a neighbor with a simple household repair. These are the languages the quiet heart speaks in the day. Teach the gentle habit of passing the lamp. When you meet someone who is anxious, offer one small piece of the peace you carry. A short sentence. A steady breath. A hand on a shoulder, if that is safe. These are not performances. They are practical mercy. Invite others to learn a simple rhythm. Begin and end the week with a short communal reading in a park or on a porch. Keep the session brief. Bring a blanket. Share nothing you cannot live with. The rhythm of meeting and releasing trains the body in trust and gives the soul repeated chances to practice mercy. Keep a list for continual support. Make a small card with 3 names you will check on this week. Write one sentence you can say if they answer. Keep the list in a pocket or on the bedside table. Little systems help care to be consistent. They turn good intention into real patterns. If loneliness is heavy, accept an offer to be the receiver of someone else's care. Allow another to be given the work of watching over you for a night. Let the roles shift. We are not only givers, we are also receivers. Both acts teach humility and trust. When a community gathers, choose simpler goals. A listening night, a meal to share, a small repair day for an elderly house. These are the kinds of engagements that keep spiritual life practical. They shape faith into habits that serve people where they are. Remember to tend your own rest. You cannot pass along what you do not receive. Keep a private practice, one short reading before sleep. One note in the morning. One quiet place to breathe. Care that is given out of emptiness will soon fail. Care that comes from a well stays steady. If fear or pain becomes overwhelming, seek help that is immediate and professional. Faith and community do not replace trained care. They support it. Guiding someone to safe help is a loving act. It honors both mercy and reason. Keep an open hand for long seasons. Community support is rarely a single rescue. It is a long, patient craft. Expect slow, repeated small acts rather than sudden solutions. Trust in steady effort. Trust that little by little, mercy reshapes a life. Make a small, shareable beat. Each week, pick one short reading and one tiny action. Share both with one other person. Ask only that they try it for 1 week. This modest experiment often opens wider doors. People who begin with a tiny task are more likely to return. Celebrate small returns. When someone shows up after a long silence, do not make the first moment an examination. Smile. Hand them a cup. Sit in silence for a beat. These are the ways welcome becomes welcome again. If it helps, create a simple symbol of community, a folded cloth, a small lamp, a pebble. Give it to a person who needs a reminder that someone waits. Symbols are not magic. They are anchors. They tell the mind, in a tangible way, that a narrative of care continues. Stay connected in practical ways. Schedule a short weekly call with one friend. Send a text at a set time. Post a brief note of encouragement. These are not burdensome if kept small. They become the threads that stitch lives together. And finally, keep coming back to this quiet. Return to the slow reading. Let it be a place where breath and mercy are practiced again. If the voice here has helped you, invite someone to listen with you next time. Pass along the habit of listening. The practice spreads by invitation more than by persuasion. Now, one small ritual to close. Breathe with me. Inhale gently for 4 counts. Hold 1. Exhale long for 8. On the inhale, picture a small lamp in your hand. On the exhale, imagine placing that lamp where someone else will find it. Do this 3 times. I will sit with the light a little while longer. I will keep reading in the nights to come. The invitation is simple. Carry the quiet. Share the small practices. Stay connected. Build one steady circle of care. Let mercy be practical and slow. Before the lamp goes low, place one tiny plan for the morning where you will see it. A call. A note. A short walk. Keep it small and doable. Let that plan anchor the night. I close with a soft wish. May the peace you have received be an easy weight for your hands to hold and an open lamp for your neighbors to see. May the small acts of mercy you offer find a heart to warm. May the ties you build be steady and kind. One last breath with me. Inhale slowly. Hold. Exhale fully. Let sleep take what has been loosened. Rest in the quiet you have carried. Rest in the promise that caring work continues when morning comes. Good night. I will be here with a slow voice whenever you need to return.